FIU Season 3 is here, and this year, boys, we have conference invites from across the country on the line. Being located in Miami has been very good for the brand, but when we lucked into a playoff spot against USC last year, that put us on the map, so we have an incredible opportunity. At the moment, being in Conference USA is just simply going to hold us back in football, which is why if we can go undefeated in conference play again, winning our second conference championship, we'll receive an invite to the ACC. It almost makes too much sense. Our in-city rivals Miami are there, but if we lose even one conference game, our best invite's going to come from the American. Then the Sunbelt is in the mix too, trying to pitch us on them, but I hope it doesn't come to that because we're shooting for the ACC. Remember, that invite only comes if we don't lose a single conference game. They're holding a high standard, and then we also scheduled a harder non-conference slate just so we could continue to build up our brand. Not only do we have to play at Miami this year again, but we also have to go to the Swamp, and then we have to face our most difficult opponent, my favorite team, Kentucky. Then there's multiple smaller schools to face too that we barely survived against in overtime last season. So as I play through this full year in this video, there's a lot ahead, and don't worry, during our Vice games, I'm still going to be putting on this very, very tight Vice City jersey. Even though we lost some of our best talent defensively from last year's team, we were still able to retain one player, Jordan Thomas, who's coming off of multiple award wins. He was literally just that good. I'm glad that we were able to retain him for one more year because last season, he had 24.5 sacks. He might transfer out at the end of this year due to playing time. As these players reach higher overalls, those deal breakers become harder to fulfill. But Alexander Bean is somebody that I think will stay forever. He was the first 4-star we ever signed. He came in as a true freshman, started for us last year, and we maxed out his accuracy stats this offseason, but you can see that they're not that good. He might have 87 speed, which helps with our running game, but I'm actually looking at Raphael Booth, who we're redshirting this year, a lefty freshman, as the future of this program. His accuracy can get so good, and even though he's a pocket passer, we could also make him pretty quick. That's going to be exciting moving forward. Then at starting running back, we have Malachi James. He just transferred into this program with his 97 speed. We also have the best receiving room we've ever had with the Panthers. Jackson Warren's not the fastest tight end in the world, but he's returning from starting last year, and then we brought in some sick transfers. Our best one, Eugene Hilton Jr., is actually the son of T.Y. Hilton, and as a Colts fan, that's just sick to me. I'm really hoping he sticks around for 2 years just because he is going to be incredible. And then the other guy I'm a huge fan of also transferred in, even though he's not the highest overall in the world, 6'4", Tristan Glass. I am going to be feeding this kid the rock with his 95 speed and hands that could still get better. For now, that should cover some of the most important names on this team. As we play through on defense, we'll get to talk more about these guys. We talked about Dejan Lee Jr. last year a lot. Then there's Micah Strickland, a new starting free safety with 98 excel I'm excited for. And most importantly, we're going to be able to punt the ball this year because I actually recruited a punter. There are quite a few good pieces on this team, and you're going to see there's going to be some 4-stars on our board that we're targeting mixed in with these 3-stars. I'm going to take you through a couple of these prospects, but just know only a couple guys would really make a big difference. Going after high schoolers isn't something I'm really interested in anymore. I'd much rather use the transfer portal. I mean, these guys look like they're going to be good, like Paul Cahill, 92 speed, a gym. We want him. Then there's these athlete thumpers that we can put at linebacker. They're the fastest that we can find there, which is nice. And lastly, we can talk about Deshaun Creed. He doesn't have the best stats in the world, but he could have potential. That's really the whole rundown for recruiting. I want to focus more on the transfer portal than anything else, and I think we are ready for our first game on the road at number 6, 91 overall, Miami. We actually took the Hurricanes down to the wire here last year. We had them in overtime, and then some other stuff happened. I don't really want to talk too much about it or relive it, but it gives me hope in this matchup. I'm also not surprised at all that we are dealing with another rain game in Dynasty. I am excited to use Eugene Hilton Jr. See, if they're going to play off on him on this play, we could have given him a chance to make something happen. And if you haven't seen much of our offense, we're going to have a lot of RPOs out there on the field. If they decide they're going to cover those receivers, we'll run it. So far, I am really feeling like Malachi James has the potential to just house some crazy stuff. He has 27 rushing yards on 3 plays, and this is against Miami. We're going to use him on the halfback screen, but he is already injured. Not a great way to go into a 3rd and 5, but the route over there from Tristan Glass was sick. You also might be wondering, am I worried that we're already losing our starting running back? Absolutely not. You don't understand how good Sterling Joseph was for us. I actually feel really good about this team that we have out there on the field at the moment. It's going to be 3rd down. But Malachi James is back out there on the field. He gets the direct snap, and he takes off towards the end zone as he just jukes his way in. He is going to be so filthy. Listen, there is nothing that felt better than what we just went through there. I need to make conservative tackles in this video. I have a really bad issue whenever it comes to trying to pull off hit sticks. They just don't work. We almost lurked them already. And I don't know if we can run this coverage that we've basically been running the entire time I've been at FIU, where we man up someone on the outside. We're just gonna have to trust Dijon Lee Jr. in man-to-man coverage. And don't get me wrong, he's solid. He's got 96 speed. His coverage stats just aren't the best. So far, I can't say things are looking too great for us, though I feel like we could have picked that. That was actually perfect defense. We're gonna get a little bit of pressure here. First sack for Jordan Thomas. This is what I'm talking about, dude. We're playing pretty well, and we forced a fumble as well, but they scooped it up. I can't say that's the most upsetting thing in the world. They're still gonna get their 3. But for a while there, it was looking like we might not get them off the field ever, and even 97 speed can't escape. We're gonna go back to the run on second down, though. He's able to get out of there and still get tackled. Eugene Hilton Jr., though, should be able to get open here. If it is zone coverage, we're gonna have to somehow make a play, and I gotta just throw this out. I wasn't even looking at the right side of the field where we had a majority of our receivers. Big mistake there, but we have a punter. So this time around, we can punt the ball, and we don't have to worry about them literally starting their drive like 10 yards away. If you all didn't see episode 2, it's not going to make much sense, but it was bad. We basically had no way to ever flip the field. We do this time around, though, and I have the drag covered, but I let it go. I said I had it covered. I'm playing against the computer like I'd play against a user, but once you leave that receiver open, they're still going to find a way to feed him that football. Emory Williams, you're not going far. You legitimately have to stick with a route until the play's over. They had us underneath. We're going to go with some man-to-man coverage, though. See how we do with it. Robinson can make that tackle. Myron's already got 3 tackles on the day, and if they try and test him, they'll find somebody else. This is where we were able to hold them the last time, though, so I'm feeling fine. After how close we came last year, I am really believing that we can pull this one off, but there they go. I say anything that's like positive towards us, and it's just an instant jinx. We can't get frustrated, though. We had a very solid drive at the beginning. On 2nd and 12, looks like they're going to bring in some pressure. Not much separation, and I do not want to be held to another 3 and out. Are they playing the halfback screen? Clearly not well enough. Malachi James keeps getting taken off the field, though, for whatever reason. We are going to have Sterling Joseph. And let's see, is play action going to fool them at all? Didn't really seem to. I couldn't put it over his head. I'm pretty sure if that's a high ball, we're able to get away with it. We have an open receiver. And guess who's back out there on the field? I mean, Malachi James doesn't miss very many plays, but I can't cut to the outside. I'm not being patient enough with some of these holes. He's open underneath with the dude already on him. At the very least, I would love a field goal out of this drive. We didn't even have time to throw it, though. Here is what I'm thinking, though. I know, it's a 60-yard field goal. It might not make much sense to you. Our kicker has 95 or 96 kick power. If I can just drill this down the middle, this should go in, and then it's a smart move. It bounced up. You know, that was literally like an inch away from not making it, but Miami fans are now going to be upset. This is also just such a satisfying way to drill a kick, too. I'm hoping this game makes it clear. Do not doubt the Panthers. They're going to hand this one off. That cutback is filthy. The computer feels pretty fluid this year. They're going to get out the slant as well. And he's still loose going to the 40. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. I couldn't get out to the flat in time either. I've been able to bait the computer there before. I'm just not sure if it's in my best interest to actually play as a cornerback. It's a fumble. They might be panicking a little bit. This could be good for us, but we just can't tackle. In an ideal world, we're about to just hold them to a field goal. We're not going to be losing by much at halftime. We got to wrap up here. I hit X. Unless they slip or something, though, they are going to drill this kick. I took a timeout so we'd have a chance to put up points before the end of the first, but we are going to need one of our receivers to get open here, and he caught up to us. That's actually terrifying. By the time that the ball got there, they had already caught up. And look at the box that they're putting on Eugene Hilton Jr. I mean, we did complete the pass, so there is some hope as we try to end this first half with the Hail Mary touchdown. It's going to be far enough as well. Did we catch it? No. I'm okay with the first half, though. I know we don't have a lead, but just being competitive with Miami on the road in the rain is enough for me. I am a little afraid our defense has taken a step back, though. They're just not getting stops as often as they were, but as I say it, we do. I like that a lot. On 3rd down, cover in the middle of the field, we force another fumble, and you got nowhere to go. I am starting to have some hope, though Cook just had the worst angle whenever it came to picking up this for a punt return. he's not going to be able to outrun this kid either. I don't really understand what he was doing. I hadn't paid much attention. Then I look up, and then we're far away from the ball. Tristan Glass, though, is looking like someone that's going to get pretty open here. Our 6'4" speedster playmaker gets us 10. And this is the perfect look right here. If they don't play the speed option well, we might just go for a touchdown. Pitch it out and use that breakaway speed. Malachi James getting tracked down, but we're going to still fight our way to the 9. We might even be able to get them with the read option here too. Isolated defender there. Alexander Bean keeps it, and we can stun on them as we go into the end zone. This is year 3 with this playbook. I'm a lot more familiar with it now. I'm mixing up our coverage too. In the past, I would literally run the same stuff over and over, but it's clearly confusing the computer. We've been in man-to-man. We've been in zone. On 3rd down, great pressure. From what I am seeing so far, I really believe that we are going to have a good chance at getting that invite to the ACC. It's going to be hard to stay perfect all year, but we are playing this well against the Hurricanes, who are really good. I just think in conference play, we're going to have a pretty fun time busting up that seam. Give us 5. Alexander Bean's really not had to do too much back there either, but he will need to on 3rd and 10. We might be able to throw it over that kid's head. They had someone else in the area, though. I know I clicked on for the aggressive catch, but I was not thinking JoJo Stone was going to get that. He was a big surprise for us, actually, because he was supposed to transfer. And we are going to get held to 3. I was going to throw Jackson Warren on a quick out route, but his route running stinks. I'm not sweating it, though. Miami's second half offense has been horrible so far. We got him on a 2nd and 7. Little play action. They're just going to their flat where we have 2 dudes ready to wrap up. I've made it very important to teach these young men to wrap up in our program as well. We are going to have a flag on this play. Okay, if we watch it back, it's going to look bad. Myron Robinson literally just took out one of their routes, but it wasn't intentional. I was just trying to stick with the other slant coming across, and then I ran into him. They normally don't call this, though. We just got unlucky, but I'm noticing everyone on our defense is on fire at the moment. I don't know if it's a coach ability or what, but they all have these on fire icons underneath. I think it's because we just started the 4th quarter. That is something somewhere in the coaching tree. Just can't remember exactly what it is. We know how the computer typically handles the 4th quarter, though. They just start playing a lot better. And I'm not clutch at finishing out some of these games. Listen, we have had a rough start to every season in this series so far. And how close are they to just throwing us an interception? They're not. They're throwing for a touchdown. Sure enough, Hurricanes tie back up at 20. We have 5 minutes on the clock, which is plenty of time. I'm disappointed Sterling Joseph's out on the field for this play, but he heard me saying that because he showed out. That's just one of those where you want to have your fastest guy on the field there. He's going to have a huge lane here, though, to cut up and take us to the 40. I feel like it's time to start running down some clock. I mean, I want this to be the final drive. I would ideally love if we could just kick that field goal. Jackson Warren is selling us a little bit, though. We're going to try and keep it, but that's how quick it can all change. It's 3rd and 12. We had the crosser. I froze up mid-play there because I was watching Eugene Hilton Jr. I had him on a comeback route, and this dude just glides like 5 yards back, but then sticks with him because I was going to throw it. It sent my brain into a spiral. I was confused at what happened. I couldn't process it. Thankfully, I didn't throw him the ball, but now we're giving it back to the Hurricanes with 3 minutes left in this matchup. I really have to stop looking at one route. I'm pretty sure our crosser was there. I can help on the team building aspect here at FIU. I cannot help with the gameplay. That was super weird. There it's now 3rd and 7. Nothing's there. Let me get to that ball. Not this. It's like the same story every season. We play competitive against Miami. We make it look like this could be a real rivalry series in the future. And then we always find some way to lose the game. They're going to get the first. At this point, there's a minute left. I have no choice but to start calling timeouts. If they're smart, they're going to run the ball too. In fact, I'm going to hope that they try and go for a touchdown. They get the ball out here, and we wrapped up. This is so bad. If we can shoot this gap, though, we could get a sack. Could we get a pick? We get a pick. We get a pick. Dijon Lee Jr., our best cornerback on this team, said, "You're not going to get away with that, Emory Williams." The vibes are up. There's hope for FIU. We could beat Miami for the very first time in program history. We're going to get this one out and get 5. I'm doing my best to not throw an interception as well, because we know that I typically tend to do that here at the end of the game, so we're trying to keep it simple. But in doing so, it's 3rd down, and if we don't pick this up, we're giving it back to Miami with a little bit of time, which is why I've run some off of the clock. Our running back was open for half a second. I don't know what to say. I did exactly the one thing I couldn't do. This is so gross. This is so gross. It's just like, what do I say? How do I justify this throw? My original hope was throwing up a 50-50 ball, but they had that covered. So I look over here to a wide open running back. He was hidden behind the guy. That's what happened. I might have to actually bench Jackson Warren for this. He is so big and thick. He covered up this whole defender. I see an open read right there thinking that guy's going to take the flat. We're going to get this huge gain. But then he comes out of nowhere. For a second, I thought I just didn't see the kid. I don't feel as bad anymore. Am I happy about it? Absolutely not. But I can at least sleep a little bit better tonight knowing this loss isn't going to be my fault. Why is our star running back not in for the final play? I felt like we had a better chance at maybe breaking off a run with him. We're going to lose for the third year in a row to the Hurricanes. And I just cannot stop watching this play, dude. He was so open. You know, I never thought there would be a downside to having a tight end that was this big. But we just found the first one. If you've run that play before, you know that that route can get open too. It just seemed so likely. We're worried about not too many players transferring this year besides Jordan Thomas. I mean, that is a big one for us and then some of our receivers. But our next biggest worry outside of all of that is going to be playing Kentucky next because I don't want to start 0-2. See, with how our schedule had to be set up with bye weeks that are going to balance out a bit better for wear and tear, we're going to have to face them. Then we have to play our rivals, FAU, who always keeps it close. Then we have to go to New Mexico State, who got us to overtime last year. Then we have to go to the Swamp. I mean, we could start 0-5 at the very worst. There is literally zero telling what could happen, but we are going to go inside the motivator tree for just a little bit longer, and we are going to have all of our players on defense start the fourth quarter hot in close games. This is what we're looking for. I feel like that's typically when our defense falls apart. It seems like David's going to prefer Miami, the 4-star running back. We're still going to keep going after some of these guys, but in a couple of weeks, it'll be pretty obvious who we can get and who we can't. I just don't understand why I have to choke so much. I want to close out some of these matchups. As we go into this Kentucky one, you know what? I think it's time that we get the vibes a little bit higher. You know what is about to go on. You all saw last week. I was not kidding about this being like the tightest thing ever. If I still had my chest pump from earlier today, not sure if it would have even gone down, but I have eventually been able to get this thing fitted on and the vibes are up. I want to smoke my favorite team at home. And honestly, I don't want to take this off next week, so we might be playing back-to-back Vice nights. I really wish they could just put the Lambo in the stadium on the field in this game. I don't know if they need licensing or what for it, but I want to get some Lambos on the field, and we're going to give it to Malachi James a lot. See, our first drive against the Hurricanes in that last game was a work of art. That is what we're going to be looking to recreate in this one. We've just utilized RPOs on our first 2 plays, and we got to see if this is going to work. We're going to pitch it. No one's going to be able to catch JoJo Stone besides this one kid coming on over. That's fine. There's something about just coming out strong that we seem to be pretty good about. But we can't forget, we did collapse too, so we have to make sure that doesn't happen. Jackson Warren decided he wanted to actually play football this week. He's helping the team out more than he's hurting them. And that was such a bad throw. I really don't know how long Alexander Bean's going to be able to be our quarterback. As much as I'd love to have him as a 4-year starter, I feel like his accuracy is really going to catch up to us. And there is no way we're letting them do this to us. One thing we didn't do much of in that first game was quarterback runs with Alexander Bean. But I'm okay with that there. We were able to pick up the 4th and 1, and we're getting a little bit closer. Now, I do feel like this is a good chance to mix in a jet touch pass. I want to see if we can get the blocks to hold up for it. Eugene Hilton Jr. gets into the end zone for his first touchdown at FIU, and I want him to beam this at the fans. Give them the ball. What a picture-perfect start for us. They're going to hand this one off, and I usered it perfectly. He still broke the first tackle, though, even after that, which is what's so crazy. I mean, it is raining again, so we do have to factor that in. We just can't escape the rain games until they come out with a patch for it. We've left him so open. Can you imagine how much differently this matchup would have felt, though, if we went into it with a win over number 6 Miami? I would have been so confident. We can't dwell on the past. We cannot dwell on the past, though. We're out there, and, I mean, this kid's crazy. We have not had an answer so far, so I just sent the crib. Everybody was set to get in there. Drag's not there, and he throws it up. We almost had it. You know, Kentucky might have made a mistake that I made, though, not recruiting special teams because they don't have a kicker on the 34-yard line to attempt a field goal. They just punted it to us. That is what I like to see, and let's see. How is this blocking going to line up? Malachi James cuts it back. Just not really much there. And on a 3rd and 5, I threw this before, but it wasn't open that time. I pre-fired my read. I knew that I wanted to try and get it to that out route. We're going to hope that this bounce goes far. And we have got to start getting a lot more comfortable whenever it comes to throwing the ball. I think that was the real difference whenever we were facing off against the Hurricanes. There's just no way. It's fun when we get to do it to them, but being on the receiving end is not enjoyable. I feel like Heisman just really pushes the limits. I mean, they've broken about every tackle. And it seems like they're going to pass it here where we just don't guard him. I can get a little bit more aggressive and be ready to stop the run, but he's just going to break a tackle. So not much we can do about that. Little RPO action doesn't work. I cannot stress enough how huge it would be if we just held them to a field goal. That is the real hope here. We're waiting for the slant to get open. It's not there, but they highballed it against us. I think it's pretty clear Kentucky's going to give us a game. And look at how much they're just boxing up every single route. I mean, I should have just held it in or thrown it away or something. That was definitely not the answer there. But it is not looking great for us as it's about to be 14-7. This Vice jersey was supposed to get us locked in. Having a Vice night was supposed to be helpful. And that's what we have to remember. 3rd and goal. Nothing except another pass over our linebacker's head. Remind me again why I think it's a good idea for us to get an ACC invite, because at the moment we can't even beat Kentucky. I mean, we might stand a chance at like getting off of the line pretty quick here. It looks like we did over on that side of the field. Is the pass going to be accurate though? It's not caught. I mean, Alexander Bean definitely had him. He just didn't even catch it. It almost looked like he wasn't even making an attempt at catching the football either, which is what's more frustrating. With about 48 seconds left in the first half, I see that look again though, and I think we're going to have it this time around. Please, just bring it in. Eugene Hilton Jr. to the crib. They kept giving us that look. I knew they weren't going to guard T.Y. Hilton's son forever. We are so back. We are better than ever, and we're going to get this ball back before the end of the first half, too. That's my plan. I don't think they're going to be that aggressive. They're going to lose a yard here, and I dare them to go for another RPO. We're ready for everything. They throw it up, and I'll call a timeout. The main problem, though, is if they just ran the ball here, or they take a sack, we won't get it. Well, I take that back. They thought it'd be a good idea to punt it to us on the final play of the first half. We're going to lateral it and not go anywhere. It's unfortunate, but we are not out of this game, and I thought we were going to be. They do get to start with the ball, but we have numbers over there to make that tackle. See, I feel like whenever it comes to how we perform at the start of the second half, it's typically pretty well. We certainly have some bad habits on this team that still need to be broken, and they definitely got me with that play action. But we get back to it with our best cornerback, Dijon Lee Jr. Come on, get a block for him real quick, and we're going to try and keep going. He is 6'4". You can't put a ball over his head like that. That was such a good play. He is a Heisman layout ability, by the way. I didn't even read what the ability does, but it's activated at the Heisman tier. Whatever that means, I'm very confident on the defensive side of the ball here. This is such a bad read, though. I couldn't even explain to you why I thought that was going to be a good idea either. Looks like man-to-man coverage, and they're just sticking on Hilton. These passes could not be worse. We know that we could hit a field goal from here. I might even try speed option until I saw who was in at running back. And this is our play call. Man-to-man coverage. We know what we're going to go for. And it's held on to. JoJo Stone just bailed us there. That should not have worked. We just got clobbered as well. I don't even know if that's a word, but the fact that Alexander Bean's still out there on the field is impressive enough to me. We're going to try and roll out with him, but we got to throw this one away. We are going to go for a quarterback draw on 3rd and 18, by the way. We're attempting a field goal no matter what, but I think if he breaks a tackle and he jukes, he might just get us the first. The last time we were in 5 wide in this game, I threw a very stupid interception. This time, though, we're getting it out fast. And the next thing that we're going to look for is a jailbreak screen, but it was broken. Or maybe I should have just thrown it sooner. For whatever reason, I thought we had a little bit more time. You know what? We've already sent it on 1 4th down. We're going to send it on another. We are taking all of the risk at the moment. We should have our tight end. No way they're going to get a hand on it. He just has the size. Jackson Warren's back on my good side. I don't know why we're reviewing if this is a touchdown. I am excited, though, to see how they test Lee Jr. I mean, he just whiffed a tackle there. But it's still pretty early on in this drive. Nothing's open except, once again, another receiver. It looks all clear, and then all of a sudden at the very final second, somebody manages to find some space. I think it's because we have some guys out there on the field that still just don't have great coverage stats. You've probably seen Ty Cordova's name a bunch. He's like a 74 overall safety. But guess what? They can't kick from the 34-yard line, so they're punting it to us again. And please don't go out of bounds at the 1. That was a close call right there. I'm feeling a little bit better about it right now. But that was just an awful play. And we're going to get this one out for a 3rd and 8. I don't know who's going to end up getting this ball on 3rd down, but if it's Jackson Warren, he's going to hang on. That was not a good throw from Alexander Bean either. I just don't know how much longer I can do it with him. I mean, we have enjoyed having his legs on the ground, that's for sure. It's just when you got like 70 accuracy stats in some of them, you can't be our 4-year starter. I'm already not the best thrower in the world. We can't have anything else holding us back there. We have also had way too many different halfbacks out there on the field. We're going to just have to trust Wilkes on this third down. The sophomore is so tiny. Maybe Darian Wilkes can do something on this play as well. He's going to get brought down. But think about where we're at on the field. With the chance of going up 2 possessions, we're not in a rush. It will be interesting to see how we handle this 3rd and 8, though. It's going to be Eugene Hilton Jr. bringing it in. And the smart thing to do is honestly just keep it on the ground where Sterling Joseph gets in that hole. We have a 2-possession lead. The Vice Knight is working out for us. That might be pre-jinx, though. There's just going to be some way that they find a way back into this game. I don't know how they're going to do it, but we know that they're going to have like some miracle touchdown within the next 30 seconds to a minute. Then their defensive line's going to turn into having like 4 Aaron Donalds on it. They're going to get a stop, and I'm going to crumble under pressure. I'm just seeing the vision already, though. I thought they were going to hit their running back, and they found their tight end. I just don't understand where they unlock this level of offense from. They haven't been that good all day. With the pressure on, though, they just play so much better. We're not going to be able to cover everything here. I was prepared for a quarterback draw. They're going to get a sack. Wait. No, we had a dude on top of him. That, like, literally doesn't even make sense. He keeps it, and guess what? It's a 7-point game. I mean, I told you all the script on what was going to happen. I gave it to you. All of a sudden, though, Malachi James has appeared out of nowhere to help save this team because I haven't seen this kid for quarters. Now, I'm no genius, but even if we don't end up picking up a first down, they would have to drive down the field and score a touchdown with like 30 seconds left, no timeouts. I think we're going to get it here, though. Malachi James using the speed. I should have gone to the marker. I was not feeling his 97 speed there. This punt is also not one of my best. I don't think you all understand how terrified I am at the moment. They don't have any timeouts. That is definitely going to help us. I just don't trust our defense to close out any games, and we baited them into a perfect read. They should have never thrown it short right there. If he can't escape, I mean, that's still the end of the game. I just can't imagine that they're going to get a spike off or another play. We're going to take down Kentucky, and we have bounced back. We had the Vice jersey. We have FAU coming up soon. We're going to go 2-1. That's just how I plan on opening up the season, though they're saying Kentucky is so bad that beating them actually dropped our championship contender, so not a good sign there. As for actually landing some of these prospects, I've been able to tell that without any good hard sell grades, we're not going to be able to pick up either of these 4 stars. They've got to be taken off of our board. But for Paul Cahill, no one else is targeting him. We can also get some of these other players on a visit week against our rivals, so that's what we're going to schedule, since we know that their biggest grade sell is most likely always going to be proximity to home. If there is anything I can promise you about this game against the Owls, every single year it seems to be a thriller. In fact, we might have gone to overtime both times. Just know, I wish it was not that way, but we have the right jerseys on for this. And it's starting to become a tradition that every single game we start with the ball. We're definitely going to need to expand past coach suggestions, though, because it's been the same type of plays. And for all we know, they're about to get us off the field on 3rd and 1 as they just shot through the gap. This is not a conference game, though, so just like against the Hurricanes against Kentucky, if we happen to lose it, it won't affect our chances at getting an invite to the ACC, but I still want to win. Every betting site has us projected to win our conference, but not every site has us projected to finish with more than 9 wins, which is why we had to make the play with Fields. You could not ask for a better user in this situation. It's going to be 7-0. Dakota Fields just decided he was going to make a play right there. I'm pretty sure he transferred in at the end of season 1. And I think I've decided I want to user this guy that's going to be in the slot. No matter who it is, this is my new zone. Nothing's available there. We're clicking on to make sure we get the sack. And this is what I imagined when I thought about how this game could potentially go. Frankly, just pure domination on the defensive side of the ball. Offensive side's still going to have some problems. It's kind of weird, but with a 97 speed running back, I'm not running the ball as well as I have in previous seasons. Plus, we just fumbled it. We're just going to have to trust Alexander Bean on 3rd and 1, and I have to get this out. I don't know what happened to the guy on it. I was honestly just going to go for an aggressive catch, and then he had all the space in the world. I think you can really see how much I use my tight ends, though. We have got to find a better tight end in the portal. 73 speed's just not something that I can work with. It's going to be 4th and 2. But what did I say? Offense does not matter in this matchup. Our defense matters. We'll finish off the drive with a field goal. They should test Dakota Fields with a little bit of a bubble screen right here again. I mean, he's going to get the pick, and there were too many guys to guard. Not much he can do about that. They are trying to stretch out our defense, too. We've gotten the glitch for the first time, though, as well, where all the zones just seem to flip around on this play. there's a setting I have to change. I got really upset by it last season because I didn't know that there was a pretty simple fix to it. I still can't try it though because they have been in hurry up mode since the start of this drive, and we're going to be able to hit them. We have got to reach the end of this quarter at some point though. They won't get out of it. I don't know what the urgency is. You're at midfield in the first quarter. It's not like they're getting these massive gains on us back to back to back. But anyway, if you go into coaching adjustments and you check how your cornerback matchups are set up, if it's accidentally set by speed, it's just a glitch that can happen off default. That's what causes the problem. If I had known that in Season 2, we honestly might have just won another game. I thought I had the user pick there. That would have been such a solid start defensively. Instead, they're punting it, and they're not going to be able to get to that in time. I will say, one thing I really liked about last week against Kentucky was we were able to work in a deep ball over on the left side. So I'd like to work that into this drive at some point. We have the one-on-one matchup to Eugene Hilton Jr., but it's just going to be an out-of-bounds throw. That was such a quick 3-and-out. Nothing has been impressive about our offense in this game. It's like we hold the keys to be in a very solid spot. By this point, it could literally be 24-0, but I've just held us back. This is going to be the drive, though, where we actually start to have some success, except we're scooping this up accidentally. And you know what? This could pan out really well, except they caught us there. Okay, so my plan here is we're going to take the final 4.5 minutes, and it'll be the last drive of the first half, but that's not going to happen whenever we're losing 4 yards with our very first carry. We can try and stretch the field on 3rd and 9, but we had to get that ball out, and we thankfully did. We do not want to find ourselves in like a 3rd and 14 with this team, that's for sure. I'm just not liking how we're playing so far. That doesn't get us much either. You know, it might be time to start going for a couple of those jump balls. We haven't really thrown one up this season yet. Right here, I feel like we do have a step, but then he caught up. If that was a hard pass, I feel like there was a much higher chance of catching it. So we're just going to have to keep that in mind. Whenever we don't have a run game, I feel like that's when we're just the most hopeless. There's no way he breaks 3. I was about to say, I can let 1 or 2 slide. Any more than that, though, is an issue. And there's a first. I accidentally took our best rusher into coverage. So that one was my fault. They've tested Ty Cordova. That's not a bad decision. He's a freshman out there, and we get the sack. I almost just want to send in a blitz on 3rd and 16. I don't think that... Wait, what was that? Also, hang on. I noticed another thing. Aside from him running sideways here, which is just really weird, that is Zachary Waters. He played for us a couple of seasons ago. In fact, I think he was our backup quarterback last year, and it turns out when he transferred out, he ended up at our rivals FAU, but we've just been annihilating him. He hasn't been able to do anything. I can't believe I didn't notice that until now. I know at least one person was getting aggravated. Probably wondering when I'm going to say something about it. On 3rd down, we might be able to complete this one. That was genuinely just an impressive throw. The play action's going to give us enough time to put this one up to Tristan Glass as well. You might not love that, but you have to keep in mind, he is a 6'4" receiver. We typically do have our luck with those jump balls. On 3rd and 10, this is where Alexander Bean is just going to have to make a great pass. And I was not expecting that out of him. Man-to-man coverage, they played underneath. I should have never forced that ball. Typically, I can click on and make the aggressive catch, but they have to be playing over the top. This is genuinely just such a sad performance. There's not been anything too impressive from me in these games. And what I'm thinking is this is just going to be my final game of the night. Tomorrow, we come back with even more firepower. If I can ever find a way to squeeze out of this jersey, I'm going to get a great night of sleep, and then we'll bounce back. For having the best offense that we have had since I've been a part of FIU, we're just not doing it justice. Malachi James has 10 rushing attempts for 10 yards at the moment. We're probably going to throw another pick here because I thought I was going to highball that and put it over his head. It's just not my night. And like I tell you all, you have to know when to pull out on recruits. You have to know when to pull out of games too. Playing this poorly is how we lose games. We don't get the conference invite that I feel like we will deserve to the ACC. And also, even a loss like this to FAU really affects some of our guys from transferring. The way I chop it up as well is it's not my performance. What's happened is they're just partying a little bit too hard here in Miami. Malachi James on paper should be the best running back ever, but instead what we've gotten is a party animal that's not really helping us out that much. I mean, they're about to have it back within a possession, and this one should have been over, but he shanked it. Not an awful shank either. He just couldn't hook it in. You have to put a little bit more curve on it there, and we're getting some momentum back. We complete a short pass. We're going to go for a speed option next, since this was one of our best plays last year. And I don't think that kid's going to be able to stop us. He looks like me wearing this jersey. He just didn't look like he was going to be prepared to make a tackle. After the wrong read on the read option, though, I mean, look at the size mismatch there. Okay. Okay, some of these earlier interceptions I have been able to justify. I saw we had a full foot on that kid, but I shouldn't have thrown it. That is the second ball, too, where I'm like 90% sure if I just highballed it, that we probably would have had it. I genuinely do not know what's happening to me, boys. Maybe we just don't even put the ball in the air the rest of this game. We call it a night after that. Don't try and scramble. We're going to hit you. Like, if there's one thing we can talk positively about with this team, our defense has been just lights out. They've been incredible, and it seems like they're going to scramble for the first down. I got stuck on the defensive tackle. I'm not even upset by it, though. Quick throw out, and we almost had it. I'm going to be honest. If Dijon Lee catches that ball off of the interception, he's going down as the GOAT cornerback. Like, there's no other way to put it. Instead, though, we find ourselves here on a 3rd and 7. A little bit of motioning going on here. I'm going to watch the flat in case they try and take it. They throw into double coverage instead. Even though their kicker missed the last one, it would have taken a lot for him to shank it again. And I think this is just what happens whenever you play a team so many times. They know our offense well. We face them every single year, and our RPOs aren't working the way they normally would. I also changed up our halfback substitution so Malachi James would be out there for more plays, but it's affected his wear and tear. I'm done. I don't even know why I thought that would work. This is not okay. I just tried to truck with our quarterback. Granted, the last video I just filmed was using a perfect quarterback, so I was taking a lot of those hits and not losing the ball. But this is so bad that books would probably question if I am trying to sell this myself. Could Coach Bordeaux be in a little bit of a gambling scandal going on here at FIU? I hope not. The last thing we need is to be under investigation while we're trying to get a conference invite. Look at that. We force a fumble back. We're getting bailed out by our defense because we're going to score 2 defensive touchdowns and then 3 points offensively. No, you ruined it. You ruined the big man touchdown. Why would you do that? Malachi James doesn't deserve this on his stat sheet. He is literally averaging less than a yard per carry. For all I know, too, we're going to find a way to mess up getting in here. I almost threw an interception there, actually. You know what? We'll just take it in. You really can't celebrate too much. This is not one of those games to be proud of at all. The only thing I will end up being happy with is the fact that we basically have a full stadium. That is some good improvement for us. They're going to just get this throw out so fast. And they're just overloading this side of the field because they know that we're sitting in zone coverage. You know, at some point, you got to bring in a blitz. There's a flag. And it was against FAU. They were holding, but they still couldn't stop us. I'm proud of our defense there. When we're coming like that, no one's going to be able to hold us. But you know what? I mean, I should have never clicked on. I haven't even had a bad day or night either. It's been a great day. Why is morale so low at the moment? You know what I think we really need to start doing a little bit of, at least on defense? Well, getting an interception is one of those things, but the second would be mixing in some blitzes. Zachary Waters, buddy, you really thought you were going to transfer out and beat us? This is just embarrassing for him at this point, and I'm going to rub a little bit of salt into the wound with one attempt. I'm only trying one attempt because I don't believe that they have the corners to keep up with Eugene Hilton Jr. This has been the game of turnovers. Not really much for us to flex here. I just feel like every hole that we would hit just hasn't been open for us. And it's going to be 4th and 1. Here's the sweet thing, though. We just end this game with a field goal, 3-possession lead. They can't come back. In fact, I'm trying to get another interception or something, too. I think of all of the games we've had in this dynasty so far, this has been the most defensive heavy. And I feel like that's saying quite a bit, too, because there have been multiple games that have had a lot of defense in them, but it's another interception. It's honestly just baffling that that is how this one went. There was certainly a little bit of offensive stat padding there at the end. I'm still terrified to look at our stats just because I know that we did not play as well as we should have. Alexander Bean, 0 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 166 yards on the ground. Malachi James broke off a couple ones at the last second to boost up that yards per carry, but it was still pretty rough. Not much offense going on in this game at all. 4 turnovers for both of these teams. And I think what we should all do before enjoying the rest of Season 3 is just wipe this one from our memories. I kind of forgot that we had recruits on a visit for that as well. They sat there. I guess defensive players are going to love it. The offensive players can't. Or maybe they can. Deshaun Creed said, I can save this team in this offense. Then we got a 4-star commit. I didn't know that we were going to get this many. That's actually crazy too. Straight out of Miami, Florida, we just completely took over, even though we were currently sitting in like 3rd place for Carlos. For those that weren't as fortunate to come for that visit week though, what we're going to do is we're going to schedule them versus Middle Tennessee. They were in the conference championship last year, so they are a solid program. And I've not really used this sway at all yet, but what I figured out is if we were able to sway here and then make this a much better pitch than what it would be, we could probably get 4-star Benjamin Locke as well. I've even looked a little bit more into another quarterback option, Vince Rowe, just because he has 90 throw power, 78 speed, the extender ability. He's a 3-star and cares about playing time, so I'm not sure he'd really want to come here in the first place. But we had some extra points to throw around. Tomorrow, we start off at New Mexico State, then at number 4 Florida at the Swamp, then Middle Tennessee. That's 3 straight games I don't feel great about, and then all of these conference matchups to try and earn a conference invite. I really hope I don't end up letting you all down, because I feel pretty confident with the team we've been able to build and their ability to jump up to a bigger conference. We just have to prove that we deserve an invite. Before we hop into that game though, I have just read the comments on the second episode, and there is a very neat detail that it didn't even cross my mind. So we've already talked about Eugene Hilton Jr. We know he's the son of T.Y. Hilton. But what I didn't realize was T.Y. Hilton also went to FIU. We were able to get him to transfer into the school that his father went to, and he's already put up better stats here than he has anywhere else. That was just a really cool coincidence to me, but now it is time. We're here at New Mexico State, and we'll see what happens. I remember playing here last year because they have a unique back to one of their end zones. But this time around, they have a freshman quarterback, so they might not keep it as tight. I like our odds in this one. We're just going to wrap up. It's 3rd and 6. And today is going to be a better offensive day for me. They did put out an update recently which patched how many picks were being dropped. Apparently it was a problem. I was actually kind of liking how often players were dropping things. Anyway, I say all that to say that you're probably going to see more interceptions out of me. And that's why establishing the run's going to be so big for us. He's going to be able to scramble on 3rd down. Frederick Dobbs could turn into a problem for us if this kid's only a freshman. The cover 2 that we normally run that just locks these teams up is not working. I can't figure out where I want to use her either because I feel like they're just dotting us up. They're breaking a tackle when we hit a zone on that spot. And our weaker group of defensive backs this season is starting to show. What a throw. This is a conference opponent, so this is one of those teams that we literally can't lose to. So far, though, it's not looking too good. They're not even picking up the block. And that was another thing I was told was improved upon in this update. Linebackers were moving too slow on their run defense, but that could have been a great throw. We found Jackson Warren. He was open, but because it was dropped, we're just going to have to punt it right back. And I'm kind of lost on what I should be doing defensively against them because they've been strong. Our defensive line's not very quick whenever it comes to getting pressure. Our zones have literally just been guarding absolutely nothing. We can't stay on top of them. And even our man-to-man coverage isn't working either. I'm going to switch over to this Tampa 2 though with the hope that we play a little bit more underneath, especially on the linebacker side. And we have a huge play coming up to start the second quarter. I mean, they literally just drained so much time off of the clock, but they've thrown it to us and we get the interception with Fields. We could also go for a pick 6 here if the blocks work out. Come on, 2 pick 6s in one season. I thought he was going to have the speed to pull it off. Turns out he didn't, but we have a huge running lane and we're going to take it. Malachi James was looking good there. Little wide receiver screen underneath. Didn't really do too much for us though. And we had them so confused on where they wanted to guard. This is making me feel a lot better. That first drive stalled out so quickly. Now we're starting to pound the rock a little bit more. And we're just going to need to slip through the hole on this play if it existed. Not really much we can do about that. We're hoping for some man-to-man coverage, which we got, and Eugene Hilton Jr. was open. I don't know how he dropped that ball, though. I mean, he's an 83, so it's not like he's the best receiver in the country. I think he has like 80 catching. College players make mistakes, but we did not need it there. See, that is something you'd think I'd get upset about, but I like that there's that unpredictability in the game. I don't want everybody to play perfect, especially at this level. There we go. That's what I was really waiting on. Our star defensive tackle getting some pressure. And we're not going to have a zone over on that left side of the field. We got man-to-man coverage, so we just got to keep that in mind. They throw it underneath, and they're going to get just enough. We're just not catching a break at all. They're starting to double-team Jordan Thomas. And they haven't been running the football that much. They throw to the receiver that was guarded. I really don't understand why we can't just knock that ball loose, though, or play a little bit better coverage. I'm trying so hard to put these guys in the position to clamp up, which we just did with Jordan Thomas. Our defensive tackle, our star on defense, just got our second interception of the day. What are we going to do with it, though? That is what is important. Right now, we've only scored 3 points in this game. We're going to get Malachi out there with 8 yards. And with a minute left in the first half, I think it only makes sense that we're passing the ball a lot more. Tristan Glass cuts up. We're at the 45. Computer also took a timeout. If they think you're going to burn them in hurry-up mode, they've tended to do that so far. And I want to see if that guy over there is in cover 3 or cover 1. Looks like cover 3, but they guarded what I wanted, so we'll go to Jackson Warren. I would really like to get more than just a field goal out of this drive. That is so important to me. And this could be a little bit of a crazy play call, but I didn't think they were going to expect it. We wasted time because I wanted this to be the final drive of the first half. And there you have it. We've taken a lead on New Mexico State. I can't sit here and tell you that we just had a perfect first half performance. We had very far from it. But there was a moment where I was starting to wonder if it was going to get out of hand, and instead, we're going to need Jackson Warren to hold up a little bit. I thought Malachi was going to break that guy's ankles, and then we were going to be able to need another block to go for a bigger run. Not the end of the world, though. We got a read option I'm pulling out right here. We're going to pull it, and they had a guy for everyone. It's just like so quickly, it becomes 3rd and 12. They were going to pick that no matter what. I was going to try and force it into that window to get to the marker. There's no explaining that one. I'm kind of surprised that he played that ball, though. I wish some of our zones could play that well, especially since we have the higher overall team. But I say that as we have forced 2 interceptions in this game. So we got to be thankful for that. Nothing's open. We should get the sack. I think the hardest lesson I really have to learn on this game is sometimes it is best to just not pick up the 3rd down and then punt it back. We're still trying to keep this realistic, so you got to think, like in real life, they're not going to just force anything trying to pick up a 1st down. You have to accept that, hey, sometimes we're probably not going to be able to convert here. I like the one-on-one look over there, though, to Eugene Hilton Jr. And if I'm being honest, this next play makes me kind of nervous. I just don't like the RPOs where I have to throw a slant. No one's picking up their assignment, though, so it's not like it really matters. We're just going to go back to Eugene, and he's going to cut up. He is one guy to make miss, and he gets out of there. He slips through the cracks. This kid is a beast. He's going to be just like his father. Man, I got to grow up watching T.Y. Hilton. Now I get to play with his son. But before we get too excited, not everything is sweet. They came out with like a 25-yard pass on their first play of this drive. Now they're going to get me to bite down with a perfect motion. I mean, that was perfect. The coverage that has seemingly gone pretty well for us in this game just ended up having its lapses. This isn't really good either. We still have not figured out how we're going to establish the run throughout the season. I'm serious about the fact, like, if we cannot get that down and we're leaning on throwing the ball a lot more with Alexander Bean, it could be a super long year. Even worse, if we do end up getting an invite to the ACC, the American, how are we going to perform? There's just a lot of questions. We're going to give them wood just by the fullback dive. I had a bigger hole than that, but I am kind of curious. What if we stayed in goal line for one more play and read the blocks? Not much there, though. I think this could be an opportunity for a bomb or for us to attack a cover 3. I saw the chance for a bomb, and with JoJo Stone, he almost caught that. Unfortunate stuff, though. On 3rd down, they are double teaming Eugene Hilton Jr. It does not matter. I predetermined it, and I fired it in there. We've really been on the pass-heavy side of things, though. It's not been so much about running the football this season. And let's see if they bite to the run. No. They are going to just leave Jackson Warren wide open. I mean, that play is probably my favorite one. They did bite to the run. There's no way that they're running the football at this point after passing all day. I think that was a 1, maybe 2-time thing on this drive. I'm going to sit back in my pass defense, going with a little jet touch pass action. They faked a lot of us out, but we forced the fumble, and oh, we got to pick this up. We scoop it up. Fields has it. Fields gets another defensive touchdown. He might actually be the best defensive player we've ever had. You can speak about Jordan Thomas. You can speak about Brian Blades II. But what about Dakota Fields? Sometimes we get to use her with him in the slot. Other times, we're just making interceptions with him. We could have had that ball. But they threw it on the side of our 74 overall safety. Just wasn't there. And that was actually a great pass. For running cover 2, we actually stuck with them pretty well, too. I can't complain about that. This whole right side of the field is basically going to be my responsibility. We're just going to continue to run that defense inside the red zone, and I don't know why that drag was open, but he throws it away. It might be best if we just user Robinson here, except when I'm using him, I give up the touchdown. That area was also my defensive responsibility. Fortunately, we played pretty well earlier on, so we shouldn't be running right by the ball and letting them have a chance at scooping up that onside kick. I did not like that. That did not make me feel good in the slightest, but it's time to burn some clock. I'm still upset that they nerfed jet touch passes in this game. I mean, last year, they were OP, but they were so much fun. We might get a man-to-man coverage look on this situation, and with that in mind, we drop it. Not exactly the best drive of all time, but we should be able to hit this field goal. They got a hand on it and a hand on our kicker. You're going to have to keep your hands off that guy. If you don't want to have a penalty on you, we're going to get a 1st down. And that should pretty much do it for this game. On 2nd and 4. Wait, what? Whoa, 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 whoa. What was that? No, EA, I can't. Like, what? Our center cannot be this bad. I mean, and even if he was, the quarterback would at least turn around and try to run to that football first. they just put him back in the game. I've seen that happen one other time in this series, and what you all said to me was it was a bug, but I thought it was just like a mishap from the center. I mean, there are bad snaps. Your quarterback's just not going to continue to go through an animation, though. After a bad snap, he's going to be running for his life to try and get that football. Fortunately, we have already forced them to burn a couple of their timeouts, so if they end up scoring a touchdown, we should be fine. I just can't believe that that ended up going wrong for us, and I left him so open. It is just so frustrating. We had this one locked up for a second. Now we're sitting here sweating out a close finish. That route's not working on me. You're going to have to throw that one out. We held them to a field goal, but that does not seal the game. I saw how my players reacted the last time. He actually scooped it up this time around, so we're solid. If this play doesn't take long enough, they might get it back with no time left on the clock, but we got the first down and it's over. That one was scary, but we knew that New Mexico State, even with a freshman quarterback, was probably going to give us a pretty good challenge. Our defensive play style this year is not fitting all these players that we recruited off a play style, though, so they're threatening to transfer, which is not ideal. Brand exposure needs to continue to raise. Playing time isn't going to be good enough for some of these guys. Then you have championship contender, another thing we control. See, I brought in Patrick Creighton Jr. through the transfer portal last year as a sophomore, and I knew he cared about playing time. I was not planning on starting him, but his accuracy skill caps do look better than what we're working with, and his speed's not terrible. There is a world where even though his dev trait's normal, he might end up getting the job over Alexander Bean, especially if we lose a game that we should. Then there's other guys like Daryl Clausen, big impact player for us last year, but this season, he's just not one of our best receivers at all. And the worst playing time one, Jordan Thomas. See, how I chalk this up is he wants playing time at a bigger school. That's why he wants more playing time. He's already on the field for every snap. He just wants to be on the field for every snap somewhere else. And it makes sense logically. He had 24.5 sacks last year, won the 3 biggest defensive awards. He should have left us after last season. We're truly fortunate just to get another season out of him, but now we have to go to the swamp at number 4 Florida. It is year 3 of this dynasty, so I'm not expecting to have to face DJ Lagway. Either he should be in the NFL already, or he probably transferred somewhere. He always seems to transfer in dynasty. But that doesn't really matter. They're still going to have stars back there, including this running back. If they run the ball a lot, I'm prepared for it. We get in that hole. And I think we're going to stick with using both Robinsons at linebacker. Dakota Fields makes the play there, forcing them to a 3rd and 10. If we can hold Florida on this first drive, that'd be amazing. Kevin Otis might be our backup defensive tackle, but I see you, buddy. He's been making plays this season as well. We're going to try and juke out of this spot. We didn't really get too far, but it's okay. Despite all the stadium pulse and the crowd getting loud, I believe that we can get a field goal out of this drive. If I hit a perfect kick, we're basically already in range. And did you see how fast I had to get that pass out? I do not know how we're supposed to run against that defensive line. And everything's shaking. The screen's shaking. No audibles are being made. This is the worst stadium pulse I think we've played in. Even though Miami's been good, theirs just hasn't been that strong. I mean, they play like an hour away from campus. On 3rd down, we're going to force it. And this could be a crazy play call. It's 4th and 2, but I see where I want to go. And we're going for a touchdown on this first drive. I don't know when the next time is we're going to be down near the red zone where we're going to have an opportunity to score 7 against the Gators. Here we go to the 6. So we literally just have to take advantage of this opportunity, and that'll get us a bit closer. This is the one jet touch pass that we have seen a little bit of success with in this dynasty. I'm hoping that the blocks hold for us, but it wasn't there. And I'm going to be honest, there's like no adjustments that are going to get out here. I hit the wrong button. I was trying to do a pump fake, then hit circle. That actually really hurts because we would have had a touchdown right there. If you pump fake and then you throw to who you want to, it makes a major difference. The defense actually bites. It's only really needed against zone coverage, though, so when I saw man-to-man, I should have just known not to pump fake in the first place. We can't guarantee Alexander Bean makes that throw there, but it hurts knowing we could add a touchdown. I like having them on a 3rd and inches, though. I might get a little bit aggressive here, especially if we're going to try and stop the run. They kept it. Perfect. See, we're doing everything that we've needed to so far on the defensive side. It's just that once we get on offense, I'm not so sure how things are going to go. I have been a little bit shocked that we actually run the ball so much better against these higher overall teams, though. I don't really get that. It might just be a mental thing. We're going to take our tight end, get a little bit closer. And I'm not even sure if this is what we want to pull out on 3rd and 3, but we've run it a couple times this year. And it's worked, so we thought we would try it. Normally, I would have just run the ball there, but Malachi James was dealing with leg cramps, so he was going to be out for the play anyway. They're going to have a chance at getting a punt return. Not too much going on there, though. And there's just a gaping hole for them to take off with. They warned us about this running back. He had 3 touchdowns last week. I didn't even want to be in double mug either. It just had us there from coach suggestions. We got to be better than that on the defensive side. We have everyone slid over, so we should be able to penetrate that run gap. And we'll see what they give us on 3rd and 7. That's not there. Halfback screen. We can't blow up in time, but they marked it as a 4th and inches, and the number 4 overall team in the country is so scared against us, they take their 3. I am shocked that they just did that. I was just reminded of that play, though, which we should probably run on this drive. It turns out the Stadium Pulse is actually helping with my play calling, and we still don't have a first down. Well, at some point, they're going to pick up on our direct snaps, whether it's to our quarterback or our halfback, where we just take off. I was trying to move him. That's why you can't sprint off of the immediate jump, because if you sprint immediately, then you don't have full control over your guy right there. We had a gaping hole, assuming our center continued to hold his block, which it looked like he was going to. It's just these habits that I cannot seem to crack that always end up costing us. I truly believe that with the way we have played in this game so far, we should be the team that currently has a lead. I could see like a 10-3. Instead, though, 3-3. And that's a good tackle. Getting the ball back is nice. We're going to go for another quarterback run. This time, I'm not hitting a speed button until right now. You see the difference? Do you see the difference there? The blocking is just so much better. In fact, we might just need to do that on every single play so it doesn't break down. Before our next snap, though, we had a false start. I can't even show you all an instant replay because, as you can see, it's currently on the last play. But if my editor pulls it up, he'll show that we didn't run our jet touch pass correctly. I can't chalk that mistake up the Stadium Pulse. Eugene Hilton Jr. should not be running into other players. That has got to be a bug. We are getting nerfed so hard. Even with all that in mind, though, we're currently in a tie game. It's points at the end of the first half that would really make a difference, though. We're going to truck through this kid. And I've already decided we're chewing clock in case we don't pick this up. I don't want to go for it if we don't, but we're going to, and we're going to be able to stay at the 40. I've actually been pretty disappointed with Malachi James. I feel like outside of how fast that he is, he's not been amazing. That was such a good pass, though, from Alexander Bean. We cannot overlook it. We're going to be looking over the middle. It's not there. We run backwards. We set our feet, and we didn't get much. We're not going to be able to audible or anything, but this has got to be touchdown territory. I'm not going to be content with the field goal, because I don't know how often we're going to get in this position versus the Gators. See, the upset's coming. They feel it. I feel it. I want everyone to feel it. I want to get some respect on FIU's name. With this low RPO, it's not even showing up correctly. I'm not sure what my controls are, so we're having to hand it off. And I'm actually terrified. I just realized this is the play where the snap went over our head. So I'm going to try and audible out of it. If this snap doesn't work a second time, it was a direct snap to our quarterback. And I will warn you all right now, do not run this play out of this formation until they fix it. I am glad that we didn't lose the ball there, but that was clearly not how it was supposed to go. Man-to-man coverage, we gotta get to that ball first. Even our best receiver isn't routing them up. That's the worst part about this team. I mean, it makes sense. They got way better corners with way better stats, but I just wish that we were able to get a little bit open. Instead, they're probably going to tie things up because I thought it was a good idea to force that ball there and try and move the chains. The ball pops up, though. He grabs that? Okay, first of all, we go for the wrap-up tackle. We get thrown off of us. Second of all, how does this kid, look where he's at on the screen right now. He is on the far left. Look at where the ball is in the air. And then he just flies out of nowhere like Superman to snag it. How hard is it going to be for us to win a national championship in this series when everything's against you? I don't get this feeling whenever I do my normal one-off rebuilds, which I'll still be doing a lot of this year, because I normally end up simming a lot of those games. That's what's made me fall in love with this team, though, and enjoy this so much. They got us with the RPO. We couldn't make the tackle in time. We were so close to holding them to a field goal again. Instead, they've tied it up, and we're just going to let this go into the end zone. I've yet to have a good return in this game. We're going to see what a direct snap can do for the first play. Not much. All of the momentum just flipped, and if we had a fast tight end, I would feel so good about this. Instead, though, we have a 6'8" tight end. They don't know how to stop him, and that's okay. I saw the mismatch. I think last night we were throwing interceptions on those, so I feel like we're doing better, even if I'm still throwing a pick a game. And all I can think back to is the last time we ran this play, how JoJo Stone was able to get open, and how Alexander Bean was able to place it. Not there, though. It's 3rd and 9. We're going to get this out quick. And it's an overthrow on a good meter. We need a better quarterback. The lights are too bright here at the Swamp. We should have known this. I mean, we saw this happen to Kevin Jennings whenever he played at Penn State this past year. And that was in an even higher stakes matchup. This is just a normal game that we're not supposed to win at all. But Preston gets the interception. And Preston is going all the way. They're not going to catch him now. flip into the end zone. I guess he didn't have that in him, but he had it in him to get a 50-yard pick six. Major Preston just had a major play. We're not out of this one. I'm actually really starting to like the defensive backs on this team, especially since they're young, so we're going to have them for another couple of years. At least in theory. They could always transfer. We got a motion coming over, so we're going to shift our defensive line. I'm prepared for the run. Not quite sure what they're doing here, but they're going to be able to get a few. Now, I'm not sure who Small is, but we had him manned up on this play. He might actually get toasted in this situation, so I am not going to man him up again. I've yet to see him on the field much, and they cut inside. I couldn't get there. We're just so close to being able to take down the Gators. So many close plays. I can't say we just need one to go our way, though, because we did get bailed out with a pick six. Looks like they're going to go with play action, and they're going to hang on. The heart behind this FIU team, by the way, to keep everything interesting and competitive is just amazing. No matter how this one finishes out, we have a bright future with the Panthers. I just know this would do great things for brand exposure. These are the types of wins that would make the ACC actually want us. And everybody is hot to start this fourth quarter. That's why I'm glad that we got that. But why are we dropping back? That's not where you want Robinson there. They're going to have a laser to the back of the end zone. And that was so heartbreaking to see. We're going to try and run with Alexander Bean. I was just kind of curious how they were going to counter our spread formation there. If the blocks are lined up, we're going to have a huge lane for Malachi James. And there's only 5 minutes left in this game, though I didn't know that he was going to stay. I have a hard time reading them sometimes there. Second down, handoff again. Good block. Sprinted too soon, though. And on 3rd and 8, there's the cut underneath. We have him. We're doing a pretty solid job right now. We just got to hit this throw over to JoJo Stone as well. He was our best receiver last year. The fact that he's now number 3 for us just says a lot about the work that we did in the transfer portal. But the counter just got shut down right there, and we have Jackson Warren. See, the Gators still have all 3 of their timeouts, but we're in field goal range. We get one more first down. We can literally end this game. By the way, we had the numbers here too, but they steered our left guard into blocking our right guard. And then it just messed everything up. On 2nd and 10, we're going to go underneath to JoJo Stone again. That's been consistent. They take a timeout, and this is the biggest play of the game. We convert this here. We're going to upset number 4 Florida. Alexander Bean, just slide down. There is no reason to complicate anything else. All we have to do is burn through this clock and settle for a field goal. I can't believe that we're about to pull this off. 3rd and goal. We're just staying in the middle. I don't want a difficult kick to hit, but we get in the end zone. I'm actually not happy with Malachi James for that, even though we should be thrilled. It gives them a chance. We've just seen the computer pull off some wild stuff in this series whenever they don't have much time left, so that's why I feel pretty uncomfortable. They're already going to be at midfield even farther. By the time that they spike the ball, though, I think there's going to be like 10 seconds left. Not the end of the world. We have everybody drop back. You're not going to throw over the middle right there. And if you scramble, this is probably the final play of the game. I don't think they're going to be able to get off another play. We have everyone drop back just in case they do. No time left, and that is how you take down the number 4 team on the road as FIU. This is the biggest win in program history. I don't have to know all their program history to know this is the biggest one. Major Preston deserves major props as well. I mean, without that pick 6, this is not possible. We still have a long year ahead of us. There's still a lot of things that could change. One loss messes up some conference invites potentially, but I see that we're ranked. That is right. For the first time since the end of last year, whenever we ended up winning our conference, making the playoffs, we're ranked inside the top 25. And we're even continuing to beat out Florida for Paul Cahill, but we haven't closed out this battle yet. Plus, we already had him on a visit, or I think he's on a visit this week. That just made this next matchup an even bigger deal. All the teams that are still undefeated in conference play are currently on our schedule this year. We have 7 conference games before we get to the end of this season. And I can pretty comfortably say we'll probably blow out a team or two, and then there's going to be a couple of them that come down to the wire that have me terrified. For this first one against Middle Tennessee, we played them twice last year, and I felt like we handled them well both times. But they could have a new starting quarterback. Turns out that they don't, but they could also have a new offensive coordinator or head coach. So we just don't know what type of offense we're going to be facing off against in this game, as they're already going to be at midfield in 2 plays. We're not exactly coming out very strong defensively, as we just gave up a slant too. And I feel like I need to set some zone drops so we play that better. This might come back to bite us, but we're going to set our flats at 0 and we're going to set our hooks at 0. And I like how it displays where that's going to be at on the field, but we'll see how it actually holds up. Okay, we got to have those at 5 because it just gave up the freest touchdown of all time. I've not used that feature. Didn't use it last year. I don't think I've used it in a football game, including Madden, in a few years. So I did not realize setting them that low was an awful idea. We're going to have to switch up there. But at least our offense is firing it too. I definitely don't come into these games against our conference opponents now as stressed out as I do whenever we're facing those bigger programs. And these are the teams I like to take some shots against, so we're going to try and get them to bite with the play action. Even if it's not there, throw it over that guy's head. This is a pretty sweet first drive so far. Handoff here. I don't know where I was going. Did not read that situation correctly, but I think we're going to have our hook. Now, it might not make sense to go for this here, but we're going to anyway. We did not get our drag route open, though, until the last second, except it's underthrown and dropped. We also still have our zone set to 0, which worked out really well for this play. What we're going to do is we're going to try 5 and see how this locks down. I've just been giving up so many slants already, and it's 14-0. It is 14-0. We're not even at the end of the first quarter. This is the worst defense we've played in this entire series, and it's the first time I've even messed with the zone drops. That's a lesson. It might just not be worth it to touch them. I mean, we gave that up so easily. Like, I sit here getting upset at the computer for not playing everything I want them to, but it turns out that it was better whenever they were doing it that way. They were covering stuff I wasn't even thinking about. We are moving it through the air pretty well so far. And let's see what we can get going with this jet touch pass. The block holds, but we're only getting the first. I might just continue to pass it against Middle Tennessee. I mean, they have not had an answer for it so far. And I'm looking in one player's direction more than anybody else, but that wasn't a good read. I panicked. It's gotten us to a 3rd and 10. And we're going to roll out with Alexander Bean, scrambling something we haven't done that much with. I've just figured that it's not really worth it for us to go for him. But maybe it is. We didn't get caught there. We're going to hand it off again, and this is going to be our first touchdown. On this drive, we're going to return to manning up one player, and I covered everything there besides that. But we should have given up another touchdown. I'm wondering if I need to go out there on the field and play. I might just need to put myself in the game. I got a jersey. I can wear it. I can get out there for us. It's not going to come to that there because we did hold them on 3rd down, but for a second I was thinking that it might. Although I wasn't a fan of how this one opened up, I think in the end we're going to be good. I mean, we're just hitting that next level. Spinning for absolutely no reason at all, and this should be a great throw from Alexander Bean. See, when I start to sling the rock, I feel like we end up playing really well, which is why we're not going to change anything up until they show us how to stop it. Unfortunately, the answer to stopping it might just be letting Alexander Bean miss a lot of throws, because he does. But we still get into the end zone with Eugene Hilton Jr. Now, as I look behind the end zone, I have noticed we don't have a sold-out crowd. I'm not quite sure why either. I mean, there's at least 50,000 students on campus. It is a commuter college, but they're still in the area, and they're going to school for a team that has a top 25 football team. We made the playoffs last year, but the students just don't care about that. I'm hoping the conferences don't. That could really hurt our chances of getting a good invite. On 3rd down, weird little route from them right there, but we got to send it, and we're not going to be able to hit their quarterback. Jeremy St. Hilaire is having a pretty solid performance so far. Couldn't knock it out. That's now the 2nd time they've made that read, and they've chewed some clock so they can be the final drive of the first half. Just when I was going to give their coach some credit, though, he calls a timeout, which I find to be pretty weird. And there they go, running again. It's all good, though. We have it set up to where we should be able to stop the run here, and they kept it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but they're back in front. And I'm not sure how long we're going to be able to keep this going with Alexander Bean. He hits his target there, JoJo Stone. But this next play is a very similar concept, and it looks like they almost got a hand on it. They're actually so worried about us moving the ball that they have everybody backed up, but that's okay. We're going to get it out quick. And on 3rd and 2, what are they running? Zone coverage. It got me. I was hoping for man-to-man and a big gain. I know that I had that drag underneath, but I wasn't even looking at that part of the field. It's not the end of the world. We get the ball to start the 3rd quarter, and we're just going to get a gaping hole here. But I am going to get a little bit aggressive here, just based off of the defense they've come out in. I think they're about to send a blitz. We're going to see. Are we capable of making a huge play with Eugene Hilton Jr.? Man, T.Y. Hilton was really doing just amazing work whenever he was making this kid come to the earth. I don't know. There was no way to say that without it sounding weird. I really wish I could just take back that entire sentence and thought in the first place. But it's there. It is out there. I'm really hoping that we could just throw a pass. I guess we're going to cut it up and get in. It's a tie ball game. The longer they stay around in this one, though, the more trouble that we're in. Thankfully, that run didn't really go anywhere. It seems like they're going to go to a flat, not that open. And you know what we're running at this point. It's cover 2. I'm stuck on Jordan Thomas, though, and we still make the tackle. You know, as I think about it, I'm not sure if we've had a game that hasn't been close yet this season, but we got a return coming, and they still catch him. Jackson Cook was so close to taking that one to the crib. Are we going to be able to throw this up? I tried it. I cannot be going back to throwing interceptions, though. We're going to run the football here. I should have gone to the outside. Those blocks literally never hold, but that is the one time where it actually did hold. Good throw from Alexander. And here we are, keeping it in the air. We're going to hit that quick pass. I'm feeling another touchdown in the coming seconds. No one picked up number 10, but I completely forgot about this play. Typically, it's going to get Jackson Warren pretty open, and we can stunt on them as we walk it in. We're also running some pretty solid coverage. It's not just been cover 2. I know we typically stay in cover 2, but we've also been in cover 3. And I've thought about it a little bit. Is it weak to click off when making tackles against the computer? Probably, but it's better than what I would do. I've blown so many hit sticks in this series, it's not even funny. That guy's been in motion forever. I hope that they don't take something over the middle. We got to wrap up. And we did. That last return from Jackson Cook was electric as well. He just flew out of there. He wasn't able to explode on them that time, though. If we get this pass out, we're not going to have time to run under it. I really thought we were going to have a huge play right there. We're trying to get our receivers active, but they're there to make another play on 3rd down. I wanted to make sure we just picked it up. Now that we've been able to convert there, I think it might be time to take a shot. I've been wanting to do this entire video. I was really just hoping that he was able to bring that one in. Eventually, you would think he'd get open. But no, it's now 3rd and 10. And there's our slant. It's caught. Tristan Glass laying out for that is the real MVP there. No hold hit. It's the worst running team we've ever had since coming to FIU. On 3rd down, though, we scrambled. And I was trying to slide. Did we pick it up? That was not ideal. I don't understand why when I was trying to slide, we ran into something. At least we got another FIU 1st down. We're not going to be able to hit the outside. And we're going to see if we can extend this route. We can't from Tristan Glass, so I don't know if we're going to take it. On the run, though, we threw it too short. It is what it is. I'll take a field goal here. I will take a 10-point lead. But most importantly, we need to get them off of the field again. I think we got them locked up, but I was a little worried. I feel like we should be able to trust Dejan Lee Jr. in man-to-man coverage. I'm not going to get to that ball with Ty Cordova, though. And the Blue Raiders are right back in this one. No matter what, they're going to get a field goal out of this drive. Never mind. You know who's making a play on the football there. We're going for the return as well. Cut to the other side. We got some dogs here that can just clamp up. We don't hit the 2nd level. But I'll tell you this. If they're going to come out in man-to-man coverage, we're going to continue to move the chains. With only 1 timeout left, another 1st down is going to seal this one. That's what we're getting right here. And I can just go for padding stats at this point. Eugene Hilton Jr. has 175 yards on the day. I would love to see him get to 200. I'm just not sure if they're going to actually let us pull that off. We're going to roll out on this one. Wait for him to get open, and it's not him in on this play. Oh, well, Jackson Cook also had a pretty solid day. But Alexander Bean was not out there to take that knee. I hope he doesn't have any long-term injury. He threw for 317 yards in this game. It might be the most he's done all year. And as we continue to win, moving up in the rankings, there are less and less players that want to transfer every week. We didn't do enough to get Paul Cahill to commit yet, though. The 4-star Jim needs 1 more week, and then I think we're going to land him. All these other prospects looking pretty solid, too. Even this 4-star lurker linebacker. I completely forgot that I'd been going with Sway, so we've convinced him to have a different hard sell, and now if we put that on there, he'll commit even quicker to us. Alexander Bean also seems to be okay. No injuries going on here. We can look at his season stats for the year and just break it down game by game. He threw for the most yards in that one. That's what I thought. We can also spend more of our coach points. I completely forgot about our OC and DC. I haven't really looked at them for a bit. Jared Parker still covers the recruiting side of things with scouting, and then we have Jay over here in the architect tree. There's not too much in here, but he does have limit lists for our linebackers and defensive backs, so there's a chance to increase a random skill cap every time they level up. That's pretty useful, and we'll probably go down that tree ourselves once we win 2 more rivalry games and we can start to unlock it. We're going to also have to spend in tactician, though, too. It's going to take a while for us to progress the way that I want to. We might as well have our offensive line hot in close games, though. Same with our quarterback, same with our wide receivers. I'm just not as worried about our running backs, and Western Kentucky is a 54 overall. There's just no way that they should be able to beat us if they're that low of an overall team. I put the silly helmets on them as well. They just look a little bit goofy. I don't know, maybe you all are a fan of them. It looks like there's not too many people coming out in Kentucky today for this game. They're not that excited for FIU in Western Kentucky. I find that odd. You're about to watch a top 20 team and a great quarterback go to work. That close-up of our jerseys showed that they didn't really match at all, but it's okay. You're not going to be able to see too much, and oh, I thought we had a touchdown there. Anyway, yes, we got the Vice helmets mixed with a normal jersey, mixed with the blue pants that we had just worn. Just let me cook up some combos at some point. We have a 6'4" receiver. I'm just going to take the top off of this defense, and he is gassed. gassed right by that corner. He also just beamed the ball at some of the guys on the sideline. This is insane behavior from Tristan Glass. He just crashed out. He beamed it at that guy. I guess he wanted him to see the touchdown, and he's just chilling on his phone. He didn't even look up. You know what, though? I want a diva wide receiver on this team. I want somebody that acts like that. That's what makes for a talented roster. We have found our Antonio Brown. We have found our George Pickens, and we're about to get them on a 3rd and 6. As long as we pass commit and actually spread our defensive line, I'm hoping that we can get some rush in there. They saw the hole, though, and they couldn't penetrate it. I'm already sensing this is going to be more of a fun game for us, just based off of that first touchdown. We hold our block there, but we can't go all the way. Malachi James is actually looking like a star versus these guys. We should be able to split all those defenders. And why couldn't we do something like this last week? We're going to be able to roll out and hit our senior tight end. He's really only good at blocking, which is why I'm not too shocked that he dropped that ball. But this is bad. It's 3rd and 15, and we're going to playmaker. We're going to go to the end zone, and it's going to be off target. I need Alexander Bean to lock in and start hitting more of those throws. It could be 14-0 right now. Instead, we're trying to stop the read option, and we do. After that play, I guess they decided they saw something they really liked because they hurried it up, and they're going to come close. Nope, they get the first. I don't know what Dejan Lee Jr. was doing on that play, but I'm going to cut him some grace, especially if he was there to get a pick. I actually think our match coverage was working pretty well there. No way they were running that football. And we might as well just sit in this cover 3 match. It picks up everybody pretty well. We don't have the numbers out there, but we could have made this tackle on time. Western Kentucky has picked up on the fact that we very rarely run man-to-man coverage. But nobody picked up Jordan Thomas there, and I'll run some man-to-man on this play. We'll see how it hangs up there. One-on-one. We're not making the tackle. That's the problem. I do think we could bait the computer into some pretty terrible reads, though. But I'm not sure why I won't just guard the running back there. It is now 4th and 5. Drag's not open. We get the sack. What did I say about Kevin Otis? Whenever they decide that they're going to double team Jordan Thomas, it just makes it so he can get in and make a play for us. And I'm feeling like taking a deep shot down the field on this one. It's not there, though. So we'll throw it short and come back to the ball, fighting for a first. Now, I feel like with the team like the Hilltoppers, they're not going to have the speed that it's going to take to keep up with us on the speed option. We're going to pick it up, and I don't think we're going to get the first down, but I will be going for it on 4th and 2. I mean, that did not look pretty for Alexander Bean in the slightest. He still can complete a pass, though. That was actually incredibly embarrassing. I thought it was going to be the easiest touchdown of all time. Instead, we're going to resort to doing some smaller, shorter stuff underneath. And I just don't see how it could be a good idea to press our best receiver again, at least whenever it comes to making some big plays. Now, he did get pressed well, and then I threw a pick. So I can't question their defensive moves there. They played good defense. What's crazy is this one should already be wrapped up. It should already be wrapped up. How did he get to that ball? I'm not having any fun with the momentum at the moment. I will guard the flat, though. Not that side of the field. We'll get out there, too, as well. Come on. Now it's time for a little bit of a blitz. We have not been sending those. You mix one in every so often, they're not going to know how to handle it. On 3rd and 16, yeah, go underneath and don't get near field goal range. We made the safe tackle there, but they got a kicker that's got a cannon on it. I wasn't expecting that considering this team's a 54 overall, but we are going to run back the speed option. And this time, we're going to make the pitch, but not get as many yards as I was hoping. See, I think we got off to such a good start that now I'm kind of underestimating the Hilltoppers. That's the most PI I've ever seen. JoJo Stone was so ready to dust this kid, and he makes his cut and just gets his head rammed into him and tackled. The worst part is if we had another second, he still would have been gone. The cutback works. But I want to see how they cover JoJo Stone deep. They stuck with him well, so we'll dump this one off. I'm looking for some of these balls just because I want to get another big play versus this defense. If it's not there, we can always go short. But at least one of these times, we are going to have a big play. And once again, this is going to be a playmaker. It's going to be a hard throw for Alexander Bean to make. But he put that one where he needed to. On 3rd and 4, little halfback screen action. We have not run very many of those this year. And we are on a 4th and inches. This is well worth going for on their side of the field. We're going to pick this one up. But Malachi James has had like multiple injury timeouts in this game. Man-to-man coverage. I mean, could you have gotten cooked any more than that? That's what Eugene Hilton Jr. does whenever he's facing off against competition in Conference USA. Much different than against the big schools. I knew that even though he didn't have the biggest games originally, he was going to be a great add for this team. Blocks held up for a little bit longer. Just collapsed when we needed an extra second there. And Alexander Bean escaping, not getting the throw out. I think we're going to be able to go for a first down right here, though. We're going to pull that route down a little bit. Cuts. and it was just inaccurate. It was inaccurate. The more creative I try and get with this offense, the worse it goes. We just know we can't do that, and what do? We still try and pull it off. Now we're giving up another big game. Western Kentucky, 1-4, by the way. We should never be in this position. It's going to be 3rd down. I want to get this football back before the end of the first half. They got me double teamed, but we still got in some pressure. And let's see what we can do with 35 seconds. Jackson Cook trying to get out of there. Not exactly the best play ever. And they were ready for a halfback screen. You know what? It might just be time to take this one to halftime. I'm going to give him one more chance to do something for us. And we do. We drop it into the hands of Darian Wilkes. As long as we get at least a field goal here, this was well worth it. We're going to set up down the middle. We could probably get off one more play, but if we do that, we're not going to get 3, so we're taking a timeout and we're kicking. This game could already be over, but with a couple mistakes, it's close. Did you see that? That must be one of the faces on the screen where they got the mascots like staring at you. It's too far out of vision for you to see it while you're actually kicking. It also doesn't show up whenever you go back into instant replay. That stinks. I do think we're going to be well off though, sending some blitzes in this one. That's what we did on this play. And it is really making me wonder, why have I not done that all season? We're generating pressure. Unfortunately for the Hilltoppers, our roster is just better. I could play as poorly as I've played in this game, and there's only so much that they're going to be able to do. But they are not helping themselves in this situation. I don't know if JoJo Stone has this in him. We're going to hope that he does and that he can score a touchdown on this play. I saw that we had the corner route open though, and we made the catch. Those streaks are not guaranteed touchdowns like they were last year. I mean, last year, I could have probably taken the streak on that play. But anyway, yeah, last year, those streaks were absolute money. If the alignment wasn't perfect, you were getting an instant touchdown. Not the case this season, but look at Sterling Joseph getting a touchdown for himself. I'm glad that he's still making an impact. I did not mean to get clicked on to that corner there. We had it. Oh, well, honestly, we were just lucky to not give up a touchdown, and they tested Preston. That's a head top catch for the Hilltoppers. You're not going anywhere. Devin and Myron Robinson are literal beasts on this part of the field for us. And even better, what do we think's going to happen whenever we get pressure like this? Not a completion. Our cornerbacks are just too good versus those receivers. We had some good blocks on that play. But I feel like our team is starting to take some wear and tear damage, and it's costing us. If we have a good drive here, this one is going to be over. I'm looking for a deep play over the middle of the field. But sure enough, you know who's missing that pass. I feel like we need to give him a lot of credit for getting us to this point. But at the same time, sometimes I just wonder, is this kid holding us back at all? Keep in mind, whenever he throws an interception, it is always his fault. It's not mine, it's his. So think back to all those turnovers that have occurred and what we could have probably done if he didn't throw them. Evidently, the computer doesn't even respect my user. Play action, nothing's there, nothing's there. I really think that they are in a tough position whenever we blitz. With how good some of our guys are, that might just be what takes this defense to a whole other level the rest of the year. From this point, though, I think it's pretty obvious they're not going to come back against us, so we're going to work on running out the rest of the clock. There's just things that Western can't seem to stop. That's a touchdown to Jackson Warren. And I can see now why there's not too many fans in the stadium. We've continued to put them in bad positions in this game. I mean, we should have just had the sack there, but they've thrown it up on 4th down, and we get the interception with Small. He's not going to break free. But if you didn't already believe that it was over, that will definitely do it. And a great throw over to JoJo Stone also helps. It feels really nice to actually comfortably win a matchup this year. I think it's the first one we have. And once again, a big passing game from Alexander Bean. Our offense is starting to change a little bit, especially since we can try new things against these schools. Paul Cahill decided he wanted to come to a team that's starting to pass more. And looking ahead to these final 5 weeks, Sam Houston still undefeated in conference play. Louisiana Tech's lost a game. Liberty has lost 2 conference games. UTEP's undefeated in conference play too. Remember, if we want to get that ACC invite, they want to see us run the table, not lose a single game here, and then also make sure we win the conference championship. If we don't, we're going to be in the American. And if things somehow go really south, maybe the Sun Belt. So we still got to make sure that we take care of business in these last 5 games. It's looking like we're going to be in the playoffs again, though, assuming we win out. I got to say, getting back to the playoffs would be a big deal. To do that 2 times in 3 years, that's a great rebuild. Obviously, we have bigger goals than just that in this series. We want to turn FIU into a national powerhouse. We want to be winning championships with them, but it's a starting place that can get more people to sign with us. Pitbull saw the vision first with the program, putting money into it, and now we've taken it to a whole other level. And it always suggests that I run this play first whenever we open up the game. It's going to get us like 7. Because of how good they were last year, I cannot break the habit of spin moves. They're going to try and get that guy in our face, but he waited after he had a free look. It allowed me to make a read. It was nice. We'll see what type of coverage they got on this play. Looks like a cover 2. I'm going to go for splitting it, but I'm going to throw a pick. We didn't even get a jump ball win there. Maybe this is a little bit of a wake-up call. I mean, our offense hasn't even been great last week, but I'm just not worried. I could get mad at Alexander Bean. I tried to throw a bullet pass that was splitting those 2 safeties. Should have gotten there sooner. In my mind, it was worth the risk as well, but Sam Houston is one of the better teams in the conference. We can't really just disrespect Conference USA before we leave it. We have to make sure that no one embarrasses us, especially because they can't be taking the rumors lightly. They probably think that we think we're better than them. They know that we want to be on our way out. Stuff gets leaked, but we are still getting them to a 3rd and 7. And I am super excited to see how Ricky Collins handles the pressure. He makes a read, but it's not enough. This week, we're blitzing against a senior quarterback, so this kid's going to come with a little bit more experience. But let's see, what type of look are we going to get here? Alexander Bean, if you make this throw, I will trust you again. That's the level of talent that he has. There is a vision with him that I see. Awful route from Tristan Glass. Genuinely just disappointing if you were to watch that one back. But we're going to run a little bit of a screenplay here. We hit that kid with the hezzy, and that hezzy's going to allow us to go to the 10. Dude, that play just got me fired up. Seeing him break down the sideline like that, we have a chance to take it into the end zone. And I'm predicting that they're going to probably run here, so we sent in a little bit of a blitz. They got the pass out in time. I feel like man-to-man coverage could be our calling, though, against these teams. I know that I have mainly upgraded zone coverage with a lot of these players, but theirs can't be bad. And as we're continuing to press them, they're going to get it out quickly, and we just got dusted. Okay, never mind. Man-to-man is not the move. Have they learned that same lesson for themselves, though? I might as well try and do it. We're going to drop it in a bucket. Tristan Glass outrunning that kid, and he's going to be gone to the crib. Even better, after the play, he crashed out again, and he took that guy's head off. We have a menace that's currently making plays for us. They had a holding call on 1st and 10, and I kind of feel bad for Sam Houston. What do you do on 3rd and 24? Half a second ago, they were probably so excited, along with their fans, after they had that huge touchdown play. But then we get a huge touchdown ourselves, and we're not done. We have already thrown for 184 yards. We have already gotten our once-a-game interception out of the way, and we're just going to continue to cook this defense throughout the rest of this matchup. I might even go for a high ball here. If I like the look, we're going to put it up there, but it's off target. There might be a running lane, though, depending on how these blocks are picked up. No one got that kid. We had the speed to get around him, but not get much. I just couldn't tell if the numbers were going to be in our favor or not. On 3rd down, Alexander Bean's going to roll out, and he's going to make this play himself. Dive to the end zone. I have a good feeling about how this one's about to go. But we do need to get home on a blitz like this one, and we almost did. I mean, we just keep on getting them on 3rd down. This slant cannot be open. I left the hitch thinking we could still make this tackle, which we did. You got a defensive genius at work at the moment. I mean, we are literally just setting up for a blowout in this matchup, and we don't have the speed. What's crazy is I don't even think that our running game's been that effective in this one. It's mainly been about how we've thrown the rock. And look at Malachi James just streaking down the field. That was a really good play from him there. Tight end screen was not open. But let's see. Maybe we're going to get a counter run to actually go our way. We pick up the blocks there. Still no space. I am not nervous about a 3rd and 12, though. In fact, I'm waiting to see what type of defense they give us. And then I'm going for splitting the safeties. I thought it was cover 2. It was even. They came all the way back to play that football. I mean, it should be fine, assuming we hit this field goal. We're still going to have a 3-possession lead. That's a great kick. You just can't ask for anything more than that. They get out a very, very quick throw on 2nd down. And we have never run this defensive play here, but we're going to get in pressure pretty fast, and we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to guard this side of the field. We have everything underneath locked up. We're just on a roll at the moment. Things are feeling great. We can't really get out of this situation, I don't think. But it's okay. I don't like the way that they're lined up over there on Glass. I just didn't like it. They were pressing to the inside, and he breaks a tackle. Yeah, this one's a wrap. Wait, no, pick it up, pick it up. He knocked it loose. Pick up the ball. No! Dude, I didn't see the other guy coming. I was going to stun on them forever. In fact, I think it's worth just challenging the play. I have a feeling that that ball definitely crossed the plane before it was poked out. It did. It did. Wait, never mind. This angle is a little bit different. It came loose a second soon. I have always laughed whenever this happened to people in real life. I'm like, how do you drop the ball before running into the end zone? But it came loose before he crossed it. The ball didn't cross it in time. It is no longer funny. I mean, that could have literally just ended it right there. Instead, they're going to have an opportunity before the end of this first half to get back into the game, and there's no way this 5'6" receiver just did that. The worst part is we're doing this to ourselves. You all can see it. What a play from Dakota Fields. He said, no, you're going up 31-7 before the end of this one. We're going to hit our running back. That was the only read I was prepared to make. And let's see if they fall for a little bit of a play action. We got Jackson Warren on a guy that is literally a foot shorter. Oh, well, it is now 3rd and 5. We're going to slide over to this left side so I can just roll out. We picked him up. Didn't really matter, but it's not okay. See, normally we keep things pretty realistic, but I have absolutely zero respect for Sam Houston at the moment. And it could cost us. It could cost us, but that's exactly why I have zero respect for them. Wait, we just fumbled that? There's actually no way that he wasn't already on the ground. I had given up on the play. I stopped talking. In fact, this might be cheating, but I've gone back and I've watched it. His elbow was on the ground before that ball came loose. I'm not allowed to challenge it. The replay official controls reviews in this situation, but he didn't even think about looking at it. So once again, Sam Houston has a chance. Do you know how I feel about that? I'm not very happy. So I decided to be aggressive. I think they're just trying to take it to the end of the first half. I mean, they're going to be at midfield. We'll take a timeout. You might be wondering, why would you take a timeout with 10 seconds left? Are you really going to be able to do anything without 10 seconds? I'm going to try to. Now, I don't think we're going to get off a Hail Mary. In fact, I think if we did, I'd just throw another pick. So we're going to give an opportunity to James and see what he can do. He has the speed, but he can't break it. Does it really matter, though? I feel like I'm treating Sam Houston like a Make-A-Wish team. I just don't see them keeping it competitive against us. We're going to swat it in this situation. What I've decided I'm going to do in the second half is what we do whenever we get a big lead over teams. I'm just going to run the football and burn through a lot of clock because I'm ready to get into the next week. This is how we should be closing out games whenever we're in a favorable position. It's just I normally get bored, then I start wanting to chase stats. And like Alexander Bean's getting a touchdown on the first play, so we don't even get to run off time. From there, it's literally just going to get worse. We got another stop. We've driven down the field. It is 38-7, and they have us on the 1-yard line after holding them again, but here's how we're going to handle it. We're going to let Alexander Bean try and escape the pocket, make a play here. We're even going to let him juke. Make one guy miss. Make another kid miss. Could this be a huge touchdown play? He's still going. It's like some of these teams are just so bad that this is always what's going to happen. We have short-armed this throw, but we're still going to catch it. And by this point, we have almost 450 passing yards with Alexander Bean, which is nuts. I don't think he's ever thrown for that many passing yards in a game in his career. Just another free touchdown. The fact that we still have the starters in too, even if we are doing some crazy stuff and running up the score, is a little disrespectful. But I'm going to let this be one of the final plays of the game. If we don't get in, we don't get in. If we do get in, though, I'm going to go throw this ball. We're going to beam it and miss that guy's head. It's okay. Jackson Warren just doesn't have the same type of aim that Tristan Glass needs. We'll keep that in mind. Tristan Glass can throw the football. You know who can really throw the football, though? Alexander Bean. I felt like for a while I wasn't even doing everything correct offensively, but I think it's the best offensive game that we've ever had. 450 passing yards, over 200 rushing yards, and on the receiving side of things, 260 yards for Tristan Glass. It's hard to ask for much more than that. It didn't tell us during the game, but it will pop up now that he has set the FIU single game receiving yards record. But I wish it said who we broke it from because I think Alex Perry had it at one point too. Oh well, we were able to sign linebacker Benjamin Locke, so that's another 4-star. 3 4-stars already committed. This does mean that we have room for more players on our board though. We have hours that we need to spend, and some of these guys, like 5-star Darren Muti, just aren't getting the love that they deserve. Now, this has made Vince Rowe pretty upset. He doesn't like that we've put a better quarterback on our board, but even if Oklahoma's going after this kid, I think we have to try and jump into the battle because I would assume that a 5-star is going to be solid. Biloxi, Mississippi is where Alexander Bean comes from, and now we could get this kid. Never mind, Mr. Bean does not come from Biloxi. He comes from Seminary, Mississippi. That sounds like a town that might have over 750 people. Did he even have a high school there? Oh well, when we take a look at some of the guys that are still considering transferring, we got a lot of receivers on the line. We got Jackson Cook, we got JoJo Stone, we got Tristan Glass, where our brand exposure is just never going to be good enough. That really stinks to see. I also hate that our stadium atmosphere is still slowly growing. Our home attendance percentage is at 64%. Last year, I think it was at like 40%. We still have a long way to go. Over on the brand exposure side of things, we've played in 27 national TV games. We've won 22 of them. We haven't done as well on the streaming side of things. I don't think that matters much. What would really be cool though is if we were able to win a playoff game, and I did add 2 4-star running backs to our board. Maryland's going after this one. Not sure if we're going to get them, but I'm a scout. First and foremost, we'll scout Jalen Rainbolt this week. He's going to come in with only 84 speed, so that almost makes me not even want to recruit him in the first place. That is just gross to see. We're sitting on top of our conference. Middle Tennessee, we honestly might meet in the conference championship game again because a lot of these other schools already have 2 losses, and UTEP is a school that we still face. At least it just keeps on becoming clearer and clearer, though, that if we keep on winning, there is nowhere in the polls for us to keep on going but up. We're already at 14. I bet we could finish this year inside like the top 8. What I would really like is we make that happen, and then we get to host a home playoff game for the first round. It's wishful thinking. We still have 5 games we'd have to win beforehand, so we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. But next up is Missouri State. I can't really remember whether or not they've given us any good games in this Dynasty series, but I'm kind of hoping that this one isn't. We're going to see if we can get the delay route. Our running back was supposed to be on one. Instead, we just throw it up to JoJo Stone. I'm honestly just so confused right now. I didn't even mean to give that to him. Like on this play here, originally, our running back was on a route where I could hit R1 and it would have gone to him, which is why I threw it to R1 in the first place. But look at that placement. Alexander Bean might actually be taking a major step forward for us. I highly doubt read option's going to work here. We got to hit that hole. Keep on fighting. Solid start to this game so far. I mean, we're getting a touchdown within like 5 plays. Look at the stands behind him, though. There's still way too many open seats in the crowd. I've left the drag open, so they're going to get it closer. But I think we're best off just running some press man-to-man on 3rd and 5. We're going to see if anybody tries to run a slant. Our coverage is locking down here. Come on. You can't be testing Lee like that. Dijon Lee Jr. had that ball in his hands. He didn't catch it. A little bit disappointed with him there, but maybe we need to upgrade his catching. On the punt return, cutting to the left side of the field. This guy's got good enough pursuit to probably catch us. With some big passing plays really opening up these weaker teams, though, I mean, we've just been cruising for some results. Look at Malachi James getting a huge breakaway run. He didn't quite have what it took to take it all the way to the crib, but he might be able to here. That is unfortunate. I was really trying to get over to that left side. And do you see how quickly everything falls apart? It is now 3rd and 13. I dropped back pretty far, but we're going to find Tristan Glass. Didn't matter. He couldn't catch the football, so it's going to be 10-0. Either way, though, we're already in a really good position in this game. It kind of proves my point. We do deserve a better conference invite. They've spent a lot of time audibling before this play, and we could have had that pick there. I didn't think it was going to be underthrown that bad. They get it out, but it's not a first. What we can do here is we can drag Galladay to make a block for us, and it's going to allow Jackson Cook to get some room. But I really hope that we get solid blocking here because I thought that could have been big. I haven't really been paying too much attention to the types of offensive linemen we've been recruiting, whether they're better at pass blocking, run blocking. Just hasn't really been at the top of my radar, so that could be part of the problem. Let's go to our 6'4" receiver, though. Didn't really work out for us. RPO is going to give us a massive running lane, though. And unlike our last drive, I don't want this one to end with a field goal. I'm looking to go up 17-0 at this point in the game. The sooner we close this one out, the better. I just want to get through these conference games without having any issues at all. Just like that, in the end zone for the 2nd time today, you're getting a few on the ground. But let's say we wanted to send in a little bit of a blitz here. What's their counter? That's their counter. I even shaded over top, but we still got toasted. As bad as I want it to work, press man-to-man isn't. If we're going to do that, we probably need safety help over top. And it's the same thing for them. Like, if I see Malachi James streaking down the field, I'm going to try to take the top off of the defense. They just had a safety back. That is what we need to be doing. That's why on this play, they're going to have to go to their flat, get nothing. And we'll see if this works out better for us. We're going to have inside leverage. I'm hoping that there's just no shot they get open versus that, which now will allow us to mix in some zone coverage on 3rd and 18. You take a quick little read, we get the ball back. For a split second in this matchup, I just turned off my brain because Missouri State was looking like they weren't going to compete. It's the only reason I even threw that last interception and didn't even care. But I think we're going to respond back so quickly with a Malachi James touchdown because they're just not going to keep up with him. The only time I'm really confident with the man-to-man coverage is whenever we shade over top and we also have some space between the receiver and our corner. When we mix in some of these blitzes, we are going to have to start playing better deep coverage. That's the 2nd time Dijon Lee Jr. has been burnt like that. We're trying out some newer things and it's not working. I don't know how many times it's going to take for me to learn my lesson though. I just got faked out with that route, which could have been bad, but we got pressure in, so he didn't have time to find it. On this first play of the drive, I'm just taking a look around. I see how they're treating some of our receivers, and I think we're going to be able to hit that corner route. If we can't, though, we're going to just run for it. I have noticed as well, Alexander Bean is like no wear and tear damage left. He's going to be out of this game probably at halftime. I don't know what occurred for him to have severe damage, but we just have to keep that in mind. Thankfully, Malachi James has speed. If he didn't, that play would have probably been pretty rough. And can we fit that into that window? I really think we should have been able to. We'll take the RPO. We'll pick up the first down. And we're just going to continue our drive down the field. Now, if their zones are going to cover over on our drag, we're going to have our easy check down. We still got a pretty good amount of momentum, but our backup quarterback's out there on the field. We got Creighton Jr. trying to do something here. And I'm going to be honest, this could be really, really rough, but I had to try. I just don't see how these teams that we're playing at the moment are going to end up taking us down. I feel like we're so much better than them, and we're kind of proving that because our backup quarterback just came in, completed 2 passes, and gets us a touchdown. I said I wanted this game over by halftime, and I'm really feeling like it's already over. On their first drive of the second half, they don't get a first down. They just punted it back to us, and we're going to keep it on the read option. We're going to see what Creighton can do. Can't really spin. A little disappointing there. I saw an opportunity. Maybe the reverse works against a school like Missouri State, though. Couple of disasters for us. On 3rd down, I'm going to try and split right over that kid's head. It just wasn't there, though, and Missouri State driving down the field a little bit. Not enough to do anything against us, though, except they catch it. I really just want to close this one out instead of them coming alive. This is no longer a team that would blow a 21-point lead, and I think that's pretty obvious. On 3rd and goal, they have nowhere to go. By this point, they've spent almost the entire quarter only scoring a few more points, and I'm looking to go for some more touchdowns against them. We're going to try to take the top off of the defense here. We're going to have it, and Eugene Hilton Jr. can just run around because we have dominated against Missouri State. We're going to beam this ball at someone, though. Missed him. Missouri State would be able to respond back with a touchdown, but we've been driving down the field, and we have the freest touchdown of all time to respond back with. Later on, Alexander Bean would actually come back into the game. I don't know why, but I guess he was feeling a little bit better. Reverse still isn't working. That might need to be the last time we run it in this series, but we're going to see what type of coverage we get. It's man-to-man. Could end this game with the touchdown. And we do. So did Missouri State. I'm not really too worried about it. Everything just opened up at the end. It was almost like defenses just didn't care. We let some backups get some playing time out there too. And if you look at us versus the rest of our conference, especially with the overall records, it's not even a question who the best team is. We have to escape this mediocrity. We cannot lose a conference game this year. I am so ready for the day that we can say, hey, we got this invite. We're not going to be with Conference USA anymore. We're going to be moving on. And I'm hoping that can ignite our fan base to actually come out to more of these games. Like, they just expect us to win. So we're seeing some very, very low show out. All I'm saying is if I went to FIU and we were a top 15 team, I would be there. As tradition, we're basically opening up every game with an RPO. This one's going to get us a solid 10 yards. It literally suggests this play first every single time. And if they're going to give us the bubble, we might as well take another one. Before this matchup started, it did pop up that Alexander Bean has thrown 12 interceptions this year. It's not been his best season in the world. But you know what? We're going to let him sit back there and just take the top off of the defense. Tristan Glass had a huge size mismatch there. I don't know about this pass, though. We got tackled at the last second, but I don't think we would have brought that in. You can't really complain about a PI penalty, though. Nobody picked up this kid. And I just see the looks that I want to see. There was some rotation before the play that actually took away the reads that I had in mind. So even though we should have easily gotten a touchdown out of this drive, I'm pretty positive that we're not going to be able to, unless we can make a play with Alexander Bean on the ground. It's always smart to take your points. We're probably going to stop them a lot. Though unless they change their head coach, at least in college football 25, Louisiana Tech throws the ball a ton. I'm talking they will literally throw the ball in like 70% of their plays. They got me with the play action and they had a touchdown. We're lucky that that's what they had. If their quarterback saw that read, I'm just not catching up to him with Strickland. We're trying to get in there with Robinson for the sack. The easiest way to tell these guys apart, we got Devin Robinson. Then on the other side, we got Myron Robinson. No one was there. Not quite sure where he thought he was throwing. We have everyone backed up and protecting the sticks, though, on 3rd and 14. So we shouldn't give anything up. We just got to wrap up and make a tackle. I really want to see if we can break off some more runs this season, though. I mean, this used to be our identity. And as I'm saying it, Malachi James gets the best blocks that he's seen all season. I feel like on most of these plays, he's not had a chance to do that. Shout out Louisiana Tech for that right there. Their RPOs don't work. Their wide receivers' blocking stats just aren't good enough. On 3rd and 11, we'll see if they can do anything against us. I mean, that's just not getting them to the marker. And let's see, if we can get some blocks for this return, we might actually be able to make something happen. One of these days, we'll pull it off. At the moment, it's looking like we're going to go up 17-0 against them as well. Blocks downfield, lining up well. Number 56. I don't know where our NIL money comes from, but he deserves extra because he just made that play happen. Having solid blocking games is one of the most satisfying things ever, so he makes sure that there's no way they'd come out to the edge in time. Then he picks up this kid, pursuing in, quickly gets over, makes sure the other kid can't catch us. And that was perfect. That was actually perfect. If I've learned anything so far, we don't need to throw bombs against Louisiana Tech. All we have to do is run the football. I also just don't believe that this number 38, a white receiver on the outside, is going to dust us deep. As I say that, though, we get dusted deep somewhere else. We better start putting a little bit more respect on their name. There's some pressure. On 3rd and 14, we'll continue to protect the sticks so they have nowhere else to go. And they just gave us the freest interception of all time. I am sorry, if you root for the Bulldogs, this is about to get ugly. No wonder the Sun Belt doesn't want them. We're going to keep it on the ground. In fact, I might just keep it on the ground the rest of this game. What would be ideal is we get our backups out there on the field for the entire second half. And Malachi James, this is your chance to make a big play. I'm a little bit curious that since we're so much better than our opponent, does the jet touch pass work here? It doesn't, though. After last year, I don't think we're ever going to have it any better than it was. Cut up field and get caught. This is like the icing on the cake drive. I'm literally expecting to end this game after this. Ideally, 24-0 as we go into the end of the first half. That's enough. We might not be able to make that happen, though. It's 3rd down. And they got in pressure. That's unfortunate that nobody decided to pick up on that side, but I messed with the running backs blocking. And I think we're about to get the ball back anyway. We're going to press here. I'm watching over there just in case the press doesn't work. What are we doing covering? I had hard flats. It is what it is. 3rd and 8. They just ran the ball. It caught us off guard. But you best believe on a 4th and 3, we're going to be pretty aggressive, and they're not going to pick it up. They've literally just ended their chances at ever coming back in this matchup. I mean, Alexander Bean is going to go for a decent run. And let's see how we close out this final 45 seconds of the first half. I didn't really want to take our drag there, but we're going to throw this ball up, and we're going to see if we can make a play. We placed that on the money. You know what? Alexander Bean, as much crap as I've given him, he's starting to deserve some more props because that was an insane throw. Just like I was hoping, we're going to close this one out before the end of the first half. It's going to be 27-0. And you know the drill for the second half by this point. Just burn through clock. This is when teams always perform so much better. They come out a lot stronger. And with that in mind, that is why it is always crucial for us to make sure that they can't do much with it. Sure, they just scored that touchdown pretty quick, but now they're going to have to be able to also get us off of the field. And for whatever reason, once we started trying to roll out, our left tackle just didn't pick that kid up. They don't have the speed for this play. It's just bad play calling. There's a reason we're in the top 15 and they're not. And we cruised through that 3rd quarter so fast that they're looking to pick up this on 4th down. He dropped it. The craziest part is he had that as well, but he just couldn't make the play. On 3rd and 8, we're waiting, and we're just going to hit Tristan Glass. The more time that's going off the clock, the better, which is why we're going for it on 4th and 1. We have really just continued to put them away. I mean, I don't know what you expect them to do. They're facing a roster they're not supposed to be able to compete with, and yes, we're going for one more touchdown on the final play, but it was dropped. I worked so hard to put us in that position so we could get Alexander Bean another passing touchdown, and so we're getting let down like that. It's pretty disappointing. One thing I'm starting to notice, though, is some of these wins have been so unimpressive to recruits. Like this 3-star Brian Mechie at corner, he would rather go to Tennessee because of it. It just isn't really making an impact on him, but what I've noticed is our championship contender grade has risen so much that we can actually do a hard sell. Then you have to think about the 5-star we added to our board. Both of these 4 stars. It looks like Jalen Rainbolt could be ours. Not so sure about Emmett Bickley. But if Emmett is faster and doesn't have just 84 speed, he is 89, that makes him a much more important target that I'd like to get. It's going to be hard, though, because there's no visits left for us to schedule. We're about to face Liberty with our last home game. It's senior night. That's something that I honestly haven't really paid that much attention to, but we're going to be losing Robert, our kicker, who's made some big plays for us. Preston Thompson's been out there on the field every so often. Then we have Jackson Warren, big tight end for us. We got Devin Robinson. We've seen him out there. We got Malachi James. Then we have Anthony Carey at running back, who's basically just become non-existent throughout the year. Pretty sure Cooper Fordham started for us the last couple seasons at center. Then there's Justin Wood, backup tight end. That's it for the seniors, though. It's not like we're going to have a bunch of roster turnover on the graduation side. Where more of the turnover is going to come from is the guys that want to enter the transfer portal, the guys that aren't happy here. We can't guarantee to them either that we're going to be moving up to a specific conference yet. By the time that that decision is made, they're going to already have left our program. It really stinks. We're going to see some big names like Jordan Thomas most likely leave us. He's going to be a hard one for us to replace, but I feel like this season, he's not been as solid as he was last year. I mean, he's still playing well, but he literally had like 24.5 sacks. That's an NCAA record. It's impossible to top that. Liberty, I forgot how much they run the ball. They did this in season 1 as well, and we literally just completely shut them down. But I think I'm ready to assert some dominance on 3rd and 4. We send a blitz, we're fine. Now we have to go back to handing the ball to the backfield brilliance of Malachi James. With 140 rushing yards last week, there's going to be a lot of eyes on him, which is going to open up the RPO game too. On 2nd and 5, little keeper with Alexander Bean. Not any way for him to go. Not really a huge fan of that. We'll see what they give us on 3rd and 7. I'm going to have to escape, and we can't. Now, one thing I do remember about Liberty is I think we had a game that was finishing with like an 8-10 score. So even if their offense is awful, their defense is not. I don't care that they're 2-8 this season. It's all about their scheme and how we're able to adjust. We have gotten them on a 3rd down, though. I'm getting held up with Jordan Thomas. I'm not good at rushing. I've never really been a huge defensive line user. Going with the counter here. We hit that gap. Finally, it worked. I just don't like how they're disrespecting Tristan Glass early on in the game, though. I mean, this is a 6'4" kid with 95 speed. You're going to expect him to just toast you deep and then take it into the crib. It definitely helps, too, that this year Alexander Bean, despite my complaints, does have increased throwing accuracy. I mean, that was all that we focused on in the offseason for him. So he can actually make some more of those deep throws. They're not getting this 3rd and 10. At this point, we have won so many games by a lot recently that I'm just going to continue to expect it. We're going to go for some big plays too. A little bit of play action. Never hurt anybody. Eugene Hilton not getting any separation. Not sure what's up with that there, but we're going to have our zig route, and JoJo Stone's going to hang on to it while also getting extra. I'm pretty happy with how this first quarter's gone, even if we're not up like 17-0. We are in full control of this game, and Jackson Warren, it's senior night. How about you get yourself a snag? He's been with us for 2 years now, so he's earned his place on this team. He's not a one-year transfer. It's been nice to have at least a little bit of consistency, because especially after season 1, where we literally lost our entire roster, I'm glad it didn't happen again. Our players are getting better chemistry together. They've been sticking alongside each other. They've been partying together. They've probably been cheating in some of their classes together, but I'm okay with it. That's what makes our team chemistry a lot higher. They're boys on and off the field. What do we got here? Handoff, nothing. I feel like 2020 Cincinnati at the moment in conference play. Let's go out, make sure that that hard flat can be covered, and make another tackle. This is really a big thing that Cincinnati did, though. I mean, they won the American Conference, then made the playoff, then they got an invite to a bigger conference. We're trying to do the same. I see a lot of similarities between us and them in that regard, and I was there for every game that season they went undefeated. That was a really cool thing to witness while I was up there at college at Northern Kentucky. And now, they'll probably always be like my 2nd or 3rd team. What are we doing? I mean, JoJo Stone could have easily been able to bring that ball in. Instead now, we got to go for another touchdown snag. And do you all see how quickly we are just wrapping up some of these games? It's already 21-0. This might be the first video in this series that isn't 2.5 hours. We'll see though. I mean, they're still pretty long. That wasn't my intention either. I've just gotten so invested. There's so many cool parts about it that we have left in to show. And oh, you got to hang on to that block. It's definitely going to be a little odd to start filming those one-off rebuilds alongside this as well in the future. Never mind about anything. I'm talking about the channel, though. Malachi James is him. He is the best one-year transfer, the most impactful one I think we've had. I don't know. Even if he doesn't have the best running back stats we have ever seen, even if there's been probably half the games this season where he's kind of let me down and not felt as fast as he should, we just haven't had a better running back. He makes what KJ Owens did in season 1 look like nothing almost. He's going to beat them off of the line as well, but instead we're going to go over to the sideline. By this point, we're literally just going for touchdowns. We're going for big plays. Alexander Bean sees the open space on the field. He's going to use his legs to pick up quite a bit for us. And could this be the most points we have ever scored in a first half? I don't think we've ever been able to get 35. Our offense has always been pretty solid, but it's also had some issues too. I was really trying to hold up for a block there. It just didn't end up working out, but it doesn't matter. We have Eugene Hilton Jr. to catch another touchdown. This one just got out of line so quick, and we're going to have a 42-0 point lead after our drive in the 3rd quarter. Liberty would end up scoring in the 4th quarter when we had some of our backups in, but it doesn't matter. We put up 56 on their head. And Alexander Bean had a pretty perfect game. He didn't have a turnover this time around, which is rare. He didn't have an interception. Then we rushed for 166 yards with Malachi James. I'm even seeing stuff like our brand exposure rising, which is going to reduce the risk of players transferring out. We're actually so close to getting that up to a B-. And I have no idea which of these teams we would end up facing in the conference championship game, because assuming we beat UTEP, all of these schools are going to have 3 losses. Preferably, I don't want to play the Miners twice. We did that last year whenever we played Middle Tennessee, and then the next week we played them again. And I don't know too much about El Paso, Texas, but I just have a feeling that it's in the middle of absolute nowhere. We got some mountains in the backdrop over there in the top left-hand corner I'm looking at, and a very confused look on my face, like always. I don't know why they always have the coach looking so... There's no good way to put it. I'm better off leaving it at that. First play, RPO, tradition. It's honestly just a very refreshing experience. I don't know why Coach Suggestions is set up that way, but it always works. We're 2 plays deep already with huge gains. They looked like they were about to stop us there until they got caught. And let's see. Can we hit this hole, or should we have just bounced it to the outside? Definitely don't want to get stopped on a 3rd and 3 here. It looks like we're going to have a wide open senior tight end, though. Wood breaks free, and I don't know how this kid's getting that open since he's a blocker. Only a blocking tight end. That's a great start to this matchup, though. I'm not sure if we've even played the Miners yet in this rebuild. I just don't remember facing UTEP. I'd remember the Sun Bowl. Maybe they came to our stadium, though. They're not going to have a drag. Knock that loose. He's short anyway. We really have asserted our dominance on this conference as we've gotten through most of the season. What a cut from Jackson Cook. I know he's not been one of our main receivers, but I need to get him on board as well because he seems like he could be an absolute beast. We just got options. We actually have him in for this RPO. We're going to see what he can do after the catch. But he's not a long-term project. He's a junior. Pretty sure we had him transfer in, so you don't want to get too excited. Now, Eugene Hilton Jr. just made that corner look silly. He tried to press him. Obviously, that is a bad decision, but it looks like they were about to get a huge run. What does Tom Klopp have for us on 3rd and 5, though? Is he going to be able to complete a pass? His slant's not there. They just got the first down. And they're coming out in a lot of passing formations, stuff like 5 wide, trying to make some plays. They're not really a team that runs the football much. I wasn't expecting a draw play or anything on 3rd down. But for at least a little bit longer, they're still in this game. I'm really just trying to get a stop, make it 21-0 and end this. We've been able to get them to a 3rd and 10, and everything's clamped. By this point, maybe some of the fans in the stands are going to decide to leave early. Their team hasn't exactly shown too many signs of having success against us, and I'm just waiting to see what type of coverage they're out there in. I'd love to get some more huge, deep touchdowns against them. Jackson Warren gets that space, but he couldn't catch that ball, so now it's 3rd down, and that's going to be short of the marker. They got to fix that play art bug as well, where it just stays on the field. It looks awful, which is really disappointing because the rest of the game looks a lot better. Get that bounce. We're at the 20. Are they going to march down the field 80 yards to score on us? Probably not. I really don't think my confidence could be any higher than it is with this team at the moment. I might have given that up. Oh, they had their tight end too. What have we not done against UTEP, though, that I said I wanted to do more of? Bring in some pressure. I'm just not seeing the energy of a team that could potentially upset us. But maybe we need a little bit of a wake-up call. That was actually kind of scary. On 3rd down, our crossers missed so badly. This is not going as smoothly as some of the last couple games have gone, but we are still in complete full control, and we sold out to stop the run. Tim Kopp pulled it, and there wasn't anything I could do about it. He's trying his best to keep his team alive. We just got dusted everywhere. I guess maybe we should have respected UTEP a little bit more. They are sitting on top of our conference for a reason. Alexander Bean is going to fumble. I ran straight into it. By the time my brain processed and then hit slide, he didn't slide. So now they're throwing it up. I thought they caught it. I've gotten so accustomed to just cruising to wins during conference play that I thought this would go the exact same way. It is definitely not looking that way, though. There's going to be a flag, and it's well-deserved. I literally ran straight into one of their receivers. Wait, it's holding? Perfect. We're not even going to accept the penalty, but I couldn't get to that ball. This is actually a terrible ending to the first half. It's just not the way that things should have gone, and the PA boot did not work. I guess I can't make our tight ends block on this play. It's going to be the final one of the half. I was honestly just going to throw this ball up, but we can't even do that. And I didn't realize we started with the ball in this game, so they're getting it to start the second half. They could drive down the field and take the lead. All of a sudden, we have to be a little bit more alert than we have been. I still don't see how they're going to end up actually winning this game, but they're scrambling. On 3rd down, we did go with man-to-man coverage, and they got it out quick enough. Plus, I've decided it's time to sit up and take this one a little bit more seriously. Their offense has actually become really cool. They run a bunch of RPOs, which makes it hard to stop. And they also get out these quick passes to their tight end that we just aren't able to ever guard. With that completion, no matter what, they're taking a lead. They're in field goal range. And I'm starting to think that cover 3 might suit us a little bit better. We're going to have all of that locked up. They actually thought It was a good idea to test Dakota Fields. How many times, man, is he just going to lock up on defense before they learn a lesson? That worked out perfectly. Now we're going to take this handoff, not go far. But either way, we're back in business. Looks like man-to-man coverage, so we're just going to wait for JoJo Stone to cut. And it's the medium throws that I think Bean struggles with the most. Whenever you can't lead a receiver properly, you lose a lot of potential to make some really big plays. And it took me like 5 attempts to try and get Tristan Glass on this deep route. Finally, it went through. Stadium Pulse isn't going to prevent it forever. And without it, I don't think Jackson Warren would have gotten that open there. A little bit of a halfback screen over here to Malachi James, who can make a couple guys miss. But do you know what I want to see? I want to see man-to-man coverage. I want to see a Tristan Glass touchdown right here. We're not getting the look that we want. It's okay. We're just going to pass there instead. Except he dropped it. He dropped it on the 1. I've said what I want about blitzing. This is one of those times where I think it was worth trying to get the safety. And I should have been able to intercept that ball. There's the safety. We really should have had a touchdown there, but I'm okay with that as well. We're actually going to use Playmaker to get a huge play. But Alexander Glass misses again. That was a harder throw for him to make, and we can't even get it out. This team is literally just in shambles. We're going to go for a Playmaker because that's the only way that I see us picking up this 3rd and 19. It worked. But goodness, we're only up by 2 points against UTEP. At some point, we're going to have to go back to running the football a lot more like this. Controlling the clock, winning games on the ground, because I am terrified of some of the schools that we could end up facing whenever we get to the college football playoff. A second appearance is so close for us. We don't have to do much more. We have to close out this game and win our conference championship. It feels really good to be in a spot like that. We are not able to stick with that kid. But we're going to do it one more time. We're going to bring that heavy blitz pressure in, and you can't test him. You just cannot test Dejan Lee Jr. He's going to cut inside, and this is going to go for 6. This is how we end the game against the Miners. Thank goodness we got this kid, man. How did we get a 6'4" cornerback that was this good? I'm really hoping that some schools don't take notice of him and steal him away, because I want to keep him around forever. Eventually, shouldn't really be a surprise. We've gotten them to a 4th and 10, where we could just end the game with a stop. And we got to swat that ball or pick it. They should have never even had a chance to catch that one. Bad read. But at this point, all we're doing is looking how to find ways to get this clock to run down because we got a 17-point lead. As time runs down, though, we have been able to close this one out. Eugene Hilton Jr. is going to get one more touchdown. And we have done it. All we have to do now to get that ACC invite is win our conference championship. It's also blown me away. Eugene Hilton Jr. set the FIU single-season receiving touchdowns record. I didn't realize him or Dejan Lee Jr. were having that good of a season to get into the record book. I guess it is a new era here at FIU. I bet by the end of this season as well, we can break some of these other ones because they're not set that high. I mean, Alexander Bean doesn't have to pass for very many more passing yards or touchdowns. On the rushing side of things, Malachi James only needs a couple more big games with more rushing touchdowns there too. But on the receiving side, I don't think we're going to set the yards record just because we need like another 400 with either Tristan Glass or Eugene Hilton Jr. Then over on defense, I know you're probably curious about interceptions. We got 6 over here with Dejan Lee. We got 4 with Dakota Fields. Sack-wise, we got 14.5 with Jordan Thomas. Kevin Otis, his backup, has 9.5. They've been solid. They've been consistent. We're still picking up some 3-stars in recruiting while losing out on the battle for the 3-star corner we were talking about. Brian Mechie would rather play for Tennessee. But it's all right. We got our conference championship game coming up and some more player awards. Who are we facing off against, though? Not again. This is the second time that it's happened, and if anyone gave us a competitive game recently, it was the Miners before that 4th quarter. They are what stands between us and being in the ACC, though Miami actually went undefeated, even though we should have been able to beat them. I don't remember much besides having to wipe that game from my memory. I don't think I'm going to fire either of our coordinators this year. We've had a solid season. If they get poached, so be it. We got this conference championship game coming up, though. We're number 10 in the country, and we need to get one more win. I might as well look around the country as well, see what else is going on here. We were barely going to be a top 5 conference champion. I'm hoping that we don't fall in the polls. I was really hoping to get a home playoff game, but I don't see us jumping ahead of teams like 10-2 Penn State or Ohio State. It's looking like we're just going to have to play on the road then, so this is going to be our last home game of the season, and UTEP can't ruin that. We actually have a stadium that's pretty full despite the rain that's coming down, and let's see. What can we get on this opening kickoff? None of our blocks really held. I needed like an extra second over there. We have not rushed the ball much though. I felt like normally those splits were sitting at about 50-50%. I wish you could see your team stats more often than just on like 1 or 2 visuals. Oh well, I have a feeling that they're gonna fall for this play action, especially if we get Hilton Jr. on a little bit of a better route that could beat some man-to-man coverage. We actually have him deep, but he stopped running. I don't really have an issue with looking for some bigger plays right there, though we're stopped. In hindsight, that was a pretty awful opening drive for us. They aren't going to get the bounce on this, though. And let's see if we can stop some of these receivers. 1st and 10, little bit of a handoff. There's that RPO that I said was hard to stop. And on 2nd and 4, slant's not there, but he still catches it. I just don't understand. How are we supposed to stop them? It's actually really difficult to. I thought I was going to lurk them there, but instead they're getting a huge play down the field, and they're in the end zone at 7-0. Obviously, this is not the way that we wanted to open up this game. Alexander Bean had a wide open right side. I just hesitated on it. I wanted to go up the middle. It probably would have worked out a little bit better for us, and it's 3rd and 10. I have 2 reads that I'm looking for. The first one over there on the comeback route, it's caught. Tristan Glass can run a solid route, and now we can pick up the block, squeeze through that gap. One thing I feel like we've not used much of recently that we need to start bringing back is some of these direct snaps as well, especially because we're going to get a big play. Malachi James never had the best juke move in the world, though. That's probably his biggest weakness that actually really stinks. But we're catching some insane balls with Jackson Warren. Good block to the outside. Get around both those defenders and be short. I'm feeling a touchdown here. The touchdown is coming. Tying things up at 7 is coming. But we might need to pull out the classic quarterback blast. I'm going to do it to the right side here just because of numbers, and we still didn't get in. Worst case scenario, they stop us here. We just go ahead and get another safety. That's what we did last week. But instead, we find Justin Wood for a tutty. That was a really good response to how they had scored against us. Nothing is going to be open from here. And we're about to get a little bit more creative. We're mixing in some man-to-man coverage. We can't necessarily get over to their running back in time, but he also didn't get a massive gain. On 3rd and 12, they split us. I might legitimately just need to start manning up Mark Markway because he's caught so many passes. And it's going to take away this middle read on the field, which could cost us, but we're going to end up seeing. We just got to start scheming some different stuff against him. I am sick and tired of this kid ruining our life. But what can we really do against this offense at the moment? They're just in a rhythm. Now, they're going to run a play here that we have seen time and time again. They always threw it to their tight end. I just recognized it by that formation. That's some solid scouting. 3rd and 16, protect the sticks. If you hand this off, you are settling for 3. I'm pretty proud of how we were able to just hold them there. And now all we have to do is just respond back with a solid offensive drive ourselves. I will say, once Jackson Warren's gone, it is going to be so refreshing to have somebody that can actually block. But I don't even know what the plan was there. I liked absolutely nothing. We're going to stand tall in the pocket. And now we're scrambling. We're not going to be able to get this first. I don't know why I end up playing so much worse offensively whenever it actually matters. Recently, we've been in a flow state on that side of the ball, but not in this game. On 2nd down, they go with the halfback screen. What a play from Collins. Charlie Collins has quietly been a very impactful player for us out on the edge, but they got me on 3rd and 9. And they're going to go with a little handoff that is going to lead to 4 or 5 more yards. They're going back to the same play, though, that they've run so many times. And I've never seen them make that read out of it, but it feels like they're getting a bit more comfortable. I kind of like our setup on 2nd and goal, especially if they're running. And let's see what they do on 3rd and goal. Surely it's not going to be a quarterback run. It is, but we were patient, so we couldn't get a tutty. You just got to wait for the tacklers to get there. There's a good chance that he shanks this kick as well, which he does. The freshman kicker can't even hit from like 20 yards out. It's a beautiful sight to see. On this play, I think we got to go for a bullet pass to Jackson. It is time for us to start slinging the rock. I have to assume that we have way better receivers than they have defensive backs. If we could just get a match coverage too, I feel like we would end up having them deep. Instead, though, it's mispass after mispass. And on 3rd and 10, they only rushed 3. But we're going down. I should have moved more in the pocket there. If I step up a little bit, we probably have time to get that pass away. Now they're going to have a chance to get into field goal range. And they don't even have their star tight end out here for this play, which is interesting. We send in 5, and nobody gets home in time at all. I am genuinely just getting crushed at the moment. There's some pressure. Finally, we got some in, staying in 5 wide out there. I don't think they're going to be able to hit him. That's going to be the end of the first half. I can't say that I'm happy. We are losing in our conference championship game. But statistically, they have probably played better than we have in this matchup. I mean, they have almost 3 times as many passing yards. We saw what happened in their stadium last week, though. We pull away in the 2nd, especially as I figure out a new play that I actually really like. They're going to hand this one off. We got to get over there in time. And instead, they rush for like 20, 25, 30 yards. It might not be the best at stopping the run, though. They had an RPO option, and we just had nobody. Nobody out there to get him. Ashton Emery is literally doing whatever he wants against us. there's all the time in the world for them to just somehow magically hit their tight end. We are not going to forget the name Tim Kopp. That's for sure. They're at the 2. And honestly, I'm run committing. I have everybody prepared. We want to stop them. All they had to do was throw the ball there. We would have been in a lot of trouble. We aren't going to be able to get to him, though. And this is looking bad. We're down by 10 points in the 3rd quarter. I don't feel very good about it. We've been able to bail ourselves out with some, like, really deep passes whenever we've gotten in some rougher offensive situations as well. Just not sure we can do that against them. And we're probably not going to be able to do that in the playoffs either, if we even make it there at this point. Good waiting on the blocks to pick up. I do see something that we can actually really abuse, though, especially because that guy's going to have to pick one of these 2 kids up. It's a touchdown. It's a touchdown. We didn't think that their alignment could keep up with Tristan Glass, and they couldn't. We're back to using some brains offensively. Let's see what they go with here. Slant's not there. Throw it. Wow. I mean, that kid couldn't be more open. I mean, what do we do here? Is the answer just send a lot of guys and bring the blitz? Because I'm not sure it is. I'm just afraid that we're going to start bringing some heat in their direction, and then they hit us with something like a halfback screen. That tackle was literally perfect there. That could have gone so much worse for us. He's not open. I don't know how things changed so quickly, but I'm feeling a lot better now. We're also going to just test them. Let's see. What type of defense do we got here? If it's cover 3, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. Alexander Bean can hit that window. No, he can't. No, he can't. I ruin this team. I do. It's the greediness, the want to score a touchdown in just a couple of plays instead of being patient that ends up costing us. You can see how frustrated our defense is at the moment. They work so hard to get this team off of the field. And now they're going to have to get another stop, though we should be forcing a fumble. I'm going to say this right now. On 3rd and inches, I'm expecting us to shoot in there and hold them to a field goal. Even better, though. They're punting it back to us. And you know what play we're not going to call? We're not going to call 4 verticals, because they could have had us pinned at like the 1. Instead, we're going to see what type of look they're giving us. The drag should be there as a very safe option. And I want their defensive line to be spaced out because I've been waiting to run a quarterback draw for so long. Normally, this play goes for a good bit. The inside zones haven't been going that well for us in this game, which is why we needed to resort to that. I'm hoping the speed option can do some big stuff for us as well. We dropped it. I have to be able to get that ball out even quicker. And on 3rd down, let's throw it up. Give it to our 6'8" tight end. I was hoping that that zone wouldn't even play that and it was just going to go over his head, but instead we had to go for the aggressive catch and they scoop this up to run for a lot. They're still going on the return. He's still up. I just cannot handle this stuff at the moment. We're getting more aggressive. We got blitzers down there. We're sending 6 at a time. We're stopping the run. But if they beat the press, we're in so much trouble and they just threw it straight up. We have the size here. What we cannot do on this drive is get ourselves in like a 3rd and 10. That's where we always seem to mess up. With that in mind, we're just going to look to complete a drag for our first play. Make it like a 2nd and 2. And they've just taken us away from running a lot of RPOs during coach suggestions. What was that? He just took off running straight whenever he was supposed to be on a bubble. We would have had the easiest 10-yard gain in history. And instead, we have to make an aggressive catch. I've had it up with this team, man. I don't even know who to blame. It's me, it's them. And it's been a great run. It's been a fun run. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to keep up this for. It'll be very interesting to see who our 1st round opponent is in the playoffs. I'm still thinking that we're winning. I have plenty of faith in this team to close this one out, especially since we're already at the 25. We're also watching the clock pretty closely. They're going to drop a lot of guys back into coverage, but they're not going to guard us underneath. I don't get that. They're making it so easy. I mean, I would love to take a big play against them, but if it's not going to be there, I have zero issue with the short throws. Another RPO this time gets us to the 3. We all know what is coming here. Normally, direct quarterback snap. In this situation, direct to our running back, which is enough. We're not going to be able to run the rest of the clock off, though. And we don't even get off a jet touch pass. It's going to be a flag. I just can't with this team sometimes. They're making it so much harder for us to take them down. I guess it ended up working out. We still scored on that play anyway. But their quarterback is currently 18 for 20, and he's about to have a chance to win. We are 90 seconds away from getting an invite to join the ACC, but we're going to have to lock up defensively. Everything we have done to rebuild FIU comes down to this, and I feel like we're about to get a sack. You know what? I think we should keep the pressure up as well. I wanted to bring in a little bit of a blitz. They're going to break that first tackle. And here is what we're going with on 3rd and 12. We have everything locked up here besides the flat. How did we not generate pressure? I'm pretty sure that I sent 6. Now they're going for a run. But that's not great for us. They've basically decided we're going to run off some clock. This is either going to be the final drive of the game where we win, or it's just going to be a loss. They just don't want to give us a chance at all. I mean, I was very nervous on that play that they were about to break free. And I don't know how we have done it, but we got a sack finally. All we have to do is drop everyone back on 4th and 17. I'm watching their tight end since that's been their consistent favorite read to make. 50-50 ball that they don't catch. That is going to do it. FIU is going to get a call to join the ACC next year. And we have somehow found our way back into the college football playoffs again. I can honestly just breathe out a sigh of relief. We have done it for a very small second there. I thought we wouldn't. But our trophy room's going to expand a little bit more, and Alexander Bean has set the FIU single season passing yards record. I said he was going to do it this week. We knew that that was coming up. There's the Conference USA Championship. They did us well for 3 years, but we're ready to move on to bigger and better things. Who we end up facing first is what I'm most worried about at the moment, but seeing Dakota Fields win the Jim Thorpe Award is just incredible. He deserved it. He had multiple pick six this season, and we have to play Ohio State, who had the Heisman Trophy winner. This is ridiculous. Julian Sainz coming off of an incredible season. I don't know if we're going to be able to stop him. And if we take a look at this bracket, we'd have to play USC in the next round if we somehow won, who beat us last year. Miami's sitting there at 13-0. BYU would have been a nicer team to face. Even Pitt in the first round, I would have preferred. There's just a lot of really good programs left. Not much we can do about it. But when it comes to 4-star running back Emick Bickley, this is the faster one. I was swaying him. I was trying to change up his hard sell, but I can't put a hard sell on him now that we did this because of the point of the year that we're at. So I think we're going to lose this battle, but I don't care because Jalen Rainbolt seems like a lock. And then Darren Moody, the 5-star quarterback, we have been able to pull away from Oklahoma on, and we're beating out Stanford. We don't even have the best hard sell in the world. He cares about brand exposure, coach prestige. Ours hasn't risen that much. Championship contender is his deal breaker, though. And that's going to be a challenging one to maintain, especially once we're in the ACC, but I have to try and get a 5-star. As for some of the team stats around the country, I was curious where we were at for points per game. I don't even think we're in the top 40. We're right down here at 33. But on the defensive side of the ball, we are tied with Miami for the best defense in the country. So this is something that I can be proud about. I also think we have the most sacks in the country. If we're going to take down Ohio State, we're going to need them to show up and carry us. I also don't really feel like squeezing into the Vice jersey for this game. So even though we're going to rock our Vice jerseys on the road at the Buckeye Stadium, we're not going to be wearing it. Starting off with the ball, I have to say my plan is going to lean a lot on RPOs in this matchup. We're not going to have the luxury of just throwing up some streaks and beating these corners. The Stadium Pulse is also going to come in extremely hard, and I don't think I've ever seen somebody play that, so that has definitely thrown me off. It is already 3rd and 10 for us. It looks like they're going to go with man-to-man coverage, so we're going to have Eugene Hilton Jr. But that wasn't a great ball from Alexander Bean, so we're going to need to see better from him in this game. That blocking was so odd there. If we wouldn't have spinned, I think we could have gotten a huge gain. But it's okay. You see how fast Malachi James is currently hitting that hole? That's what we're going to need throughout the entire game. We'll see how we hold up on 2nd and 6. We're going with an outside zone. He's going to catch us. And it is already another 3rd down. We have a couple reads I'm looking for. Mainly that one, though. And it's going to be caught. That big play right there actually calmed down the crowd quite a bit. Doesn't matter much, though, whenever Bean is literally just missing the shortest and easiest throw of all time. We could have had another 1st down. Instead, it is 3rd and 6. I'm throwing that no matter what, and we catch it. Never mind. I think we have to take a look at it from another angle. It apparently popped out. I thought we had it. Instead, though, we're just going to have to settle for our field goal, and this is the same thing that happened against USC. When we faced them in the playoff last year, I felt like we were able to drive down the field decently well, but we just couldn't close out a single drive. And now we're going to have to lean on our defense to do the same thing to the Buckeyes. They can have progress, but they cannot score touchdowns. The second they get into the end zone a couple of times, they literally might just run away with it from there. First pass, only getting 6. We definitely need to stay in zone coverage for this one. We're also bringing a lot of guys down inside the box. Not that it made a difference there. You can already kind of see what we're going to be struggling through in this matchup, but it's okay. We went into the swamp and got a win. We can handle this as well. On 3rd and 6, that's the defense we got out there on the field. But I did not stick with Peoples, and he's at the 25. That's the big downside whenever you take a zone off of the field and you decide that you're going to play some man coverage. I don't think they're going to have anybody go over to that part of the field on this play, though. Looks like it's going to be play action, and everything is boxed. This is perfect. It's 3rd and 15. We drop everybody back, and now they take a shot to the end zone where I thought we had it. What I say, though, what we're looking for is to hold them to field goals like we held them to one. You're just kidding. Why are we jumping on the kicker? There's just no reason. The worst part is it was Jordan Thomas too. He's our best defensive player. He's got to be smarter. I guess you literally just can't try to block a kick in this game either. They're in the end zone. That's got this stadium fired up again as well, just when I thought we were going to be able to silence them for a little bit. But hang on, Malachi James getting loose. Stewart doesn't have what it takes to keep up with him. We're back on top. I mean, you could not have asked for a better ending to the first quarter. Now Ohio State is back in the spot where they need to be the one to respond. And this stadium is about as quiet as you would expect that it could get. You're not breaking 2 tackles. We're just ready for that. On 3rd and 7, slant's not there. Slant's not there. We're going to be able to not make a play on this kid? I guess that clicking on and trying to get a pick with our 87 overall free safety is not possible. Maybe if we went for the SWAT, he could have gotten to that. I don't know. Quincy Porter literally just shredded us for a 73-yard touchdown. Not too happy about it. We know the difference maker in this matchup, though, Malachi James. He's already had a couple explosive plays. But we have a problem. He's down -5 speed due to some wear and tear damage. He's still our fastest running back, even with that wear and tear damage, though. They had man-to-man coverage. And honestly, wheel route to Malachi probably could have been a really big play for us, but I couldn't risk it. We haven't been able to stop the Buckeyes, so if we have a turnover, we're probably just going to be out of this game completely. And do we trust Sterling Joseph to pick up this 3rd and 1? I do. He finds the space. As we get closer to midfield, we're going to try and cut back here. Not much room to go. But this Y trail play normally gets somebody open at least. Jackson Warren, you're going to have to make a play. It is now 3rd and 8. Can't even see the routes that are going to be out there. We're going to see how they play on the outside. Tristan Glass hangs on. We're about as locked as I have been throughout this entire season. But Sterling Joseph seems to be our main running back for this game. The wear and tear picked up. I want to get Eugene Hilton on a little out route, but it's just not going to work with the stadium pulse. So here we go. 3rd and 6. It actually went through, and he catches it. Now, I feel like a direct snap to our quarterback might be better here, but I had it going over to Sterling Joseph instead. And I think you all can see what I'm doing to end this first half. We're working the clock well. We want this to be the final drive. We got a great play out of him too. They started taking timeouts though. They've kind of picked up that we're burning some clock. So we're going to go back to Sterling, and he gets to the 2. I might have been able to take that in there, but I can't complain about being able to make them burn at least one more timeout. And here we go. Massive 3rd and goal. It's too far for a quarterback sneak, but not too far for a quarterback blast. To even be up by 3 at the end of the first half is pretty incredible. But in this final minute, we still have to hold them because they could get more points. I'm really hoping that we force them on like a 3rd down and they stop being as aggressive, because they're going to go for it. If we're not super aggressive about it, they're going to try and get that field goal, and they break 1 tackle, but not 2. These guys just have some really talented players on this roster, but not as talented as Ty Cordova. We got the pick. Now we're in an interesting spot. At least a field goal puts us up by 6, but I might be going for a touchdown too. It's just that we're in a rush now, which isn't great. It's going to be 3rd and 2. And I think this RPO might be a great opportunity for us to pick up an easy 1st down and then go to the 20. There's still about 20 seconds left on the clock as well. We might just go for a 50-50 ball. Are you serious, Tristan? I am clicking on and coming back to the ball. That works against everybody else. But the one time we do it in a good spot where we're trying to get to the 5, it doesn't. You get to see all the benefit of it, but that's what happens when it doesn't work out. Thankfully, we brought him down. They literally could have gotten a touchdown off of that play, but we still have to wrap them up here. I'm just so annoyed that we blew a great opportunity to go up by at least 6 points. But it's okay. We'll see what they end up doing on 1st and 10. Everything's boxed. We get there. I'll give them one play where we run man-to-man just so we can try and stop the run. But you just saw what happened there. It didn't really make a difference. They're actually passing it in this situation, and they get what they needed. I can stack this box all that I want, but I don't know if it's going to actually help us at all. Though I am a little bit curious. This feels like a better look for us to run man-to-man coverage, and it was. See, we can make some pretty smart plays. We've been able to pass commit on 3rd and 12. I'm not expecting them to pick this up either. Ty Cordova, get your 2nd. We could have had that, but it is completely fine. We're getting the ball back. I'm going to try and make a block with Hitchcock over on this left side. It would have been nice to get a big play there. And guess who's still in at running back? It's Sterling Joseph, so we're just missing our starter. I don't even like having Darian Wilkes out here for 3rd and 10, but he might be who we lean on. Or it's just going to have to be Jackson Warren. There's not much we can do against a man-to-man look. They were boxing up our corner routes on both sides, though they didn't get this ball before then. And I am having flashbacks to the Miami game where it felt like we were in control in the 3rd quarter. But then I don't think we ever scored again, and we literally just blew it from there. How did they know to run a play like that? The literal one time this entire game where we don't have any hard flats on the field. And they got it figured out. But I'm going to play the hard flat this time. and we couldn't even bat down the pass. I still believe in the upset for FIU, especially because we're going to get them on a 3rd and 10. And I'm going to play the middle safety here. I don't want to deal with any of those zones underneath, which was the smart move. We're able to hold them. It's going to be 17-17. And this is still very winnable. Now, speed option. Are you serious? I am speechless. That play was absolute money for us. And then in this season, it's just gotten worse. Like, Alexander Bean's reaction time is awful because I was spamming the pitch button about right here, and then he waits. I guess he never even pitched it. He just got rammed. I just can't do this. I don't know if it's intended or what to, like, nerf it, but we're now losing by 7. We're going to look underneath on 2nd and 4 to our zig route. If it's not there, that can't be underthrown. We still caught it. We also have every player starting this 4th quarter hot, which means I know you all aren't going to like this, but we have a cover 1 look, and I have to take a shot down the field. You see it? Tristan Glass. Tristan Glass. Come on, buddy. Make a play. Make a play. Not the end of the world. I figured we probably wouldn't be able to outrun some of their cornerbacks there. We're still getting a first. And one of these reads on the RPO is probably going to be open. I think the bubble was probably open there. Which one of our tight ends is going to dust them, though? It's going to be Jackson Warren, as we're going to go inside the red zone. See, we've had some bad offensive drives. We've had some bad plays, some bad moments in this matchup. But we are not out of this one yet. It really does not help that we cannot run the ball the same way that we were earlier on. Can we route them up, though? We can't. It's now 3rd and 12, and they're running man-to-man coverage here. We have no choice but to go with the halfback screen, lean on our blockers, and finally Carey makes an appearance. We're missing Eugene Hilton Jr., though, and he's in the spot that I'm going to want to throw the ball to. So we're just going to have to trust Tristan Glass. They played it underneath. They played it underneath, and this kid's gone to the crib. 2 defensive touchdowns. It's going to cost us the playoffs. We're just having a meltdown here in Buckeye Stadium. I mean, we can go down the field. We can try and score a touchdown, get it within 7. But I might just throw another interception or something. Our flat's open. What is Sterling Joseph going to do? Not much. That's the answer you're going to get out of me. I don't even know what buttons. What? We're going to scramble. Scrambling is the only thing I can do with Alexander Bean. I mean, he has been in college for 2 years now. He's had 2 playoff appearances. And that's all at FIU, which is impressive. But I want to see him start to win some playoff games as well. I actually do have a hope here that we're going to get a cover 2 look and we can split the safeties, though I'm not seeing it. Can we outrun this kid? Not well. Now that we're down by 14, I'm sure going back to throwing up some of our jump balls would probably actually work. For whatever reason, they only seem to go super well whenever we're trailing. And let's see. Jackson Warren, again, he gets us to the 8. I think what I'm going to do as well, even though I couldn't get that throw out, is go for the 2-point conversion, assuming we get a touchdown. That wasn't even supposed to be the play there. We got our backup quarterback out there on the field, and it's 3rd and goal. This is not the time for us to have a quarterback switch. Inside cut, catch it, catch it. Okay, this is the worst look we could have for a direct halfback snap here. They have the numbers, and I don't even know if we can audible. We're not going to be able to audible. We're going to have to go with Darian Wilkes up the middle and just hope for the best. Yeah, it wasn't there. I should have called a timeout. There was just no shot we were going to be able to audible with the stadium pulse. Can we force a fumble? No, they're going to break the tackle. I don't know what it is, but the computer, like, hits another level in the second half. They just tease you with these better teams. They make you feel like you're actually going to pull off the upset, and then you never actually do. Thinking back on it, though, I guess we kind of did the same throughout the year with our conference games. We've just given up. We just went scoreless in the 3rd and 4th quarter again, and yes, there were a couple mistakes there that definitely cost us that game. They didn't score on offense. But now we have to go through the most stressful part of the offseason where these players try to transfer. We lose our best defensive player. We lose some of our best offensive players. And Ohio State wasn't even that good. They lost to USC in the next round. It's an SEC championship for, I think, the 3rd year in a row in this dynasty where Georgia wins it. They've won back-to-back titles. It's always been an SEC championship game. But look at the progress we've made. The last 2 conference championships, they went to us. Now we're going to be joining the ACC, where recently it's been controlled by our rivals Miami and Duke. To wrap up this season, we completed 70% of our passes with Alexander Bean, 3,300 yards. It was really just the interceptions that were awful. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. We actually played a lot better this season than last season, only throwing an extra 3. The rushing game game didn't take as big of a step back as I was thinking either. It was less yards, it was less touchdowns, but not too many. Malachi James kind of took over for more of those touchdowns and rushing yards this year. We didn't have to lean on him as much, which was good for wear and tear. And then Tristan Glass actually ended up being our leading receiver, but it was Eugene Hilton Jr. with the most touchdowns and Jackson Warren, who's now going to be gone. I always hate opening up this players leaving tab because I know we're probably losing Jordan Thomas, except his reason for leaving is going to be for the NFL instead of transferring, so we probably have a high chance at convincing him to come back. No, we don't. Then you look at all these players graduating. We're going to lose at least another 10-ish here, but look at the transfers. There's about 15. I have 8 persuasions to use. A lot of these have to do with playing style, which really stinks. It's why you shouldn't recruit off a playing style. Like our running back room is just going to get depleted again. Same with our receiving room. And Terrell Doucette's staying. We redshirted him this year, so that's a benefit, but we're going to have to really spend on upgrading his speed before he even gets on the field. Then there's the higher overall guys I'd really prefer to not lose. We're going to convince the next 5 here. Maybe we'll get lucky with a couple of them. JoJo Stone stuck around last time. Not this time. Patrick Creighton Jr., he didn't like being our backup quarterback. And will Roger Claiborne come back? He will. I'm pretty sure we got him in the transfer portal in season number 1. He's been here ever since. He still has plenty of room to grow. But the rest of these players all have like normal development. Maybe we get Darren Clausen to stick around. He'll just transfer again because of playing time, so it's not even worth it. We don't need more tight ends. Maybe we'll work on our offensive line, see if that helps. We got him. We definitely had a lot of losses this year, but our team prestige went up to 2.5 stars. And if we look at the players that are going to threaten a transfer next season, there's only 6 of them at the moment. Now, a lot of that can change. The school grades fluctuate, but it's at least relieving to see Jordan Thomas went in the 5th round. He will go down as an FIU legend. 15.5 sacks in a season is still pretty solid. Plus, he had that sick interception. It's not 24.5 sacks, but it's good enough. It also can't be overlooked that we're still currently targeting some 4 and 5 stars. If we get Darren Mooney over Stanford and Oklahoma, it'd be incredible. We're going to take 3-star Vince Rowe off our board. And I'm actually surprised our stadium atmosphere didn't rise. It stayed at an F grade this entire time, so I'm wondering if it's just never going to go up. I'd be really disappointed if that was bugged. You can see all our other school grades are starting to change over time, though it is a long process. Like even our athletic facilities are still an F. What do we have to look through in the transfer portal though? Almost all of the top players in the country are going to be willing to consider our school, even some freshman quarterbacks that could be beasts. So I'm gonna look into it. I would love to have options at that position. Next year, we only have these 2 guys. You can still go over to your roster and see what the team's gonna look like. You just have to exclude anybody that's listed as a senior. What I've been able to come up with, without doing any scouting, so I don't really know how good these players would be, is I have found a 4-star transfer freshman receiver, Keenan Temple. This is one of my biggest targets. Then there's Frank Covey the 4th. I think he'd be great as a receiver too. We got Kevin Wynn. He could come in as a transfer, make a difference for us. Then there's Ben Hanks Jr. Just a lot of 4 stars, ideally that they're sophomores so they have more time to be with us. A lot changes though, even after you advance 1 week in the portal. Like we're not even going to be in the top 5 for that quarterback I was talking about. And so removing Kerry Karoma from our board, that's going to free up another spot to add another player. And it seems like Emmett Bickley is going to be very hard to beat out Maryland for. I think I'm going to end up losing a lot of these battles because it's just impossible for me to guess some of these hard sells at the moment. And there's bigger schools going after these players. But until we go through another week, I won't really know for sure. By now, though, it becomes pretty obvious who we need to put points into, who we don't, who we still have a chance on. I think we could actually get Emmett Bickley, but we're not going to get Keenan Temple. We're just not a big enough school. Anybody I see a 2nd place in as well, I have a good feeling that we're not going to be able to land. It might not even be worth the resources, but I will try for some of the better ones. By the final week, all those 4 stars I originally targeted in the transfer portal kind of all just disappeared. We've been loading up on some of these 3-star transfers, hoping for the best. There was just no way we were going to win a lot of the battles for the 4-star transfers, so we had to take them off of our board. But Darren Mooney, he has decided he wants to play for the Panthers. I think the same's going to be true for Jalen Rainbolt. We were expecting that. But what about the other running back? He's not popped up. Eventually, though, Emmett Bickley's name would come around. I don't know why they're not in order for where they're sorted on our board. We also got Kevin Wynn. I think he ended up being the only 4-star transfer that we actually pulled in. But look at this. We made 18 signings on the final day. As a recruiter, that's where I've been making my real splash. I don't think any of these final players that flipped on our school. So we did the right thing in taking off other guys so we could make more signings. Now, when it comes to some of these dev traits, Paul Cahill, he's just got impact development. Carlos has star. Some of the other 3-stars ended up having star as well. But I'm most worried about our 5-star quarterback with elite development. Darren Moody is the future of FIU football. Jalen Rainbolt might not be our future running back. He's got normal dev. So does Emmett Bickley. So that makes sense why those 4-stars weren't as highly touted. But Kevin Wynn's going to be a great defensive tackle. And I got kind of lucky. Star dev with Chuck Alens. He's a tight end that I threw on at the last second that was always interested in our school. Same thing with transfer Paul Bush. That's why it's important to sign a full class. You can always get rid of other players and encourage them to transfer if they're not going to be a good fit. We signed a top 25 class, by the way. We aren't a part of the ACC yet, but you can see why they wanted us, because that would have given us the 3rd best class in this conference, above Duke, above Pittsburgh, above Virginia Tech. Though I will say, taking a look at our halfback room, this is not going to be a fun season next year whenever it comes to running the ball, because we don't have the speed that we just did. I also think with his 81 speed, even though Ty Cordova did have some impact plays for us, I was trying to get Dakota Fields in that position more often than not. He has 86 speed, so we're going to move him over there. That's about it for position changes, though. We brought in 3 players on the special teams side of things, so we now have all sorts of options there. If you saw season 2, I never want to go through a period again where we don't have a punter and we can only kick it like 10 yards. Dakota Fields, since he won the Jim Thorpe Award, makes sense. He also upgraded his dev trait, but I don't know how much he's going to be able to progress. Then we got another dev trait upgrade with Kevin Otis, who's supposed to be the replacement at defensive tackle for Jordan Thomas. But I just don't see that happening because Kevin Wynn ended up coming in as an 87 overall with player progression, maxing out his run stopping. He's up to a 92. And I even got him this inside disruptor ability. We run a 4-2-5, so Kevin Otis is still going to be out there on the field, but he's not going to be our main defensive tackle. I'm curious to see what we can get him up to. I would like to think that next season, he's probably going to be our main defensive tackle if he doesn't transfer, just because he's an 86, he's a junior, he's not going to go pro. And at some point, we're going to have a deep look into this quarterback room on who we think we want to start. I'm going to boost up Raphael Booth's accuracy this year, though. He had a lot of skill points to spend. This is one guy I said that's going to be like a long-term plan for us. We can upgrade his speed quite a bit. We can actually get him up to a 79 overall in just one off season. But I don't think he's better than Alexander Bean at the moment. I'm looking at these abilities. I don't know if we're going to be able to get much farther out of him. His accuracy needs to go up. We have 40 skill points to spend, and I don't know how I want to use them. I think what I've decided on is we're going to actually boost up some of his running stats. That's because Break Sack was in there. Extender as a gold ability is just broken. And then we can increase his quickness too. That gets him up to 89 speed. While going up on IQ, he's going to be an 84. We're just going to have to revisit our quarterback room at some point. Terrell Dessette's going to have 85 speed. I haven't been able to get it up that much. I don't know if I want him to be the starter. We're developing Kashim Kuhn to be it in the future. But if you don't balance stuff out, he will literally just transfer. Sterling Joseph, he doesn't even have enough skill points to upgrade his speed. I really thought this guy was the future at some point, and he might still be the starter. By the time I finally got through all of the training results, we've progressed our team up a decent bit. We're probably going to have to encourage some of these guys to transfer, but there are interesting players like freshman Nick Machado. I redshirted the tight end. He has 86 speed, and I think this year he's going to start for us, even though he's not maxed out yet. There are some new faces that are going to come about and be on our defense. Like, I'm excited. Travis Shembo, 93 speed corner. He has star development as a freshman, already an 84 overall, with more room to grow. These are the players that get me pumped up. Of course, some of our decisions to get guys up to higher overalls is going to increase the number of players that might transfer next season. But who cares? We are about to take FIU and drop them inside the ACC, getting this conference up to 18 teams. We earned the conference invite from them. We also had one from the Sun Belt and the American, but those two conferences didn't interest me. Here in the ACC, we can set protected rivals against both Florida State and Miami every season, and I absolutely love this feature. I'm not going to make sure all these protected rivals are correct. I really just wanted to make sure that ours were. And I have been able to fill up this roster with more players than we need, which means we have to cut 12 guys. This is not really a fun thing to do, but when you have freshman running backs that are 4-stars that care about playing time, sometimes you just have to get rid of guys like Darian Wilkes and have them find another team. There's just certain players like Manu Bighill, who has awful skill caps at receiver, I know will never see the field for us, and I have to take this process through our entire roster. By the time I was done cutting players, we're actually going to be sitting as an 86 overall team, which has me feeling good, even if I don't think our roster's up to that type of standard. Like basically every season so far, our best players are always on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, though, Eugene Hilton Jr., he's up to an 87 himself, and then there's a huge drop-off before we find other offensive players. In our quarterback room, it looks like we should be starting Alexander Bean, but Darren Muti with an 80 overall as a freshman, We could redshirt him. He's a 5-star. I mean, he cares about championship contender. I don't think he'd leave, but he can clearly become the better player over time. In the future, it'll be interesting whether or not we settle for Bean as a senior, or we actually lean on the freshman that's going to be redshirted this year. You even know Raphael Booth could slip in there. And there's a lot of work I have to do roster management-wise if we're going to stay up in the ACC, but we have got this team set up for Season 4, where I'm hoping in our new conference we don't do terrible. Make sure to let me know down below, though, how you think we're going to do and what your favorite part of this season was.